For 2005's King Kong, everybody at timestamp 0 in 3, 2, 1, play.
A Universal picture.
A Universal International picture.
And Miramax.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong logo. Never mind.
Oh.
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 Or no, I guess it's not Miramax at this point. It is just the Weinstein Company, isn't it?
Oh.
So now the real question is, does this convert Hayden into a King Kong fan?
No, I exaggerate. Sorry. I
Really?
exaggerate. I do like King Kong. I like Godzilla more, so I play up my that I hate King Kong, but I do like King Kong.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hayden,
can
so
I...
you've just seen the original King Kong and then any of the crossover films, basically, is what
Yeah.
you've seen? Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the original and Skull Island, and then everything else.
Gotcha.
And Austin told me to avoid the '70s one, so I have.
Yeah,
it's
I
the
haven't
worst
seen that
duology
either.
ever. But you guys need to watch King Kong Escapes because it's great.
I do. That's fair.
And the bad guy in it is Doctor Who.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Which one?
And I'm shocked that
Which
I haven't
one?
seen it.
No, the villain's name is Doctor Who.
Oh!
Oh,
Who?
Noah and I were instantly just like, which one?
No, he's
which
like, I'm Doctor
Who?
Who. I'm gonna get King Kong.
That's
I like
amazing.
the idea that there's just a random British actor in a Japanese movie as the villain.
I mean, it's not
Fucking
that
Tom
crazy.
Baker.
Sometimes they bring,
I mean-
yeah. No, it's Christopher Eccleston back in like the 60s.
He's like a 2-year-old.
Yeah, he's like a 2-year-old. I'm gonna get
I-
that Kong.
Something that I really appreciate about Jackson's approach to this movie is because he's setting it in kind of that same time that the original came out. He's very dedicated to making it look like that time.
It does.
Well, one of the best things he adds for this is adding the Great Depression
Yeah.
as like a very upfront thing of how we get this plot rolling.
That's something, I guess, like a lot of 30s movies, it's either not addressed or just kind of happening in the background. You get that, like, there's a little bit of it in that first one, just with Anne being a struggling actress, and then I think the scene with the apple is in both versions, but here, like you said, we're really bringing that element to the forefront.
Well,
Yeah.
because we can get it right out of the way. This film is the original, but like times 3.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
Yes.
The V-Rex scene is like the perfect metaphor for this as a remake, and it's incredibly excessive and self-indulgent, and I think it kind of works in this movie.
And also, basically, the only idea really that carries over from the 90s version into this. One story I've heard Peter Jackson tell a lot is when he was in pre-production on this movie in the 90s before it got canceled, was he had like a statue made of Kong fighting the 3 T-Rexes or V-Rexes, and that's something he just had in his office for like years after this, like while making the Lord of the Rings movies, as like this reminder or thing that kind of haunted him for a bit of,
Oh, wow.
that this movie I wanted to make, that then he finally made it. Because when he was developing this in the 90s, I think like it was going to be set in modern day. Like it's very different from the movie he ended up making.
No, so it was going to be a 30s period piece because not Denham, Driscoll was going to be a World War I pilot, but it's very different to this version. That version's very like The Mummy, like it's very just kind of like fun, like uppity action adventure film.
Upbeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
and he like kind of dodged a bullet. I don't.
Yeah.
I really feel like Peter Jackson needed to get Lord of the Rings kind of under his belt to like fully come back and approach this in the right direction.
Yeah, because you mentioned.
I think that this movie is very much informed by Lord of the Rings, just with that bigger, like, epic scale to it.
And you mentioned, of course, like excess, especially like in the later scenes. I think that was the perfect way to approach this, considering this is the third King Kong remake or second remake, third King Kong movie, um, and kind of put that stamp on it because we haven't done this again. And the next time that we reboot Kong, the first time that we're not remaking this. We're just taking that character and kind of doing something different. Um, so I think you
Well, I
can
know
make an
he
argument
hates
that
the '70s remake.
oh, okay. So I think him doing that and making this an epic kind of puts that definitive stamp on it outside of the original.
Well, and whether in Austin's case, you're in his case who hates the '70s version or not, I do think this is a film worth remaking every few decades, at least back then, just for nothing else than having that evolution and special effects. Since the first film is just such a marvel in stop motion and visual effects of that time, that's like the big selling point of the original. So I think it is cool to revisit this every few decades and see the different approaches. Like in the '70s film, you have a guy in a suit and miniatures and animatronics
Yeah.
and stuff. Here, this is an early motion capture approach, so I think that's cool.
Mhm.
That
I
be
was even thinking
tradition.
about that today, just in how very dated and of its time both this and the original are, where it's like this is like this is like the masterclass of cinema for like this exact point in time, and I think it's very fascinating in that way.
And
So yeah, I agree with that.
I will say watching it, I think a lot of this holds up. However, I think the thing that ages it is at least to me, the green screen wasn't as good as the rest of the movie.
Yes. Well, okay, I love that you brought that up because depending on what modern movies you're talking about, we haven't necessarily gotten better.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're looking at. There are exceptions. There are exceptions. But I do feel like in some ways we kind of peaked here with visual effects. I'm speaking very broadly, but I think it's, to me, very rare we get a modern blockbuster of this scale and quality because we make so many more now. Like, that's the problem.
It's both that
Right.
and you have directors that know how to work with visual effects, while you tend to get a lot of workman people. They go, okay, just film this, and they go, I don't know, just put a guy on a green screen. Like Peter Jackson wanted to be a visual effects guy before a director, like going all the way back, and obviously, you know, founded Weta Studios, which still to this day produces some of the best CGI work in
Yeah.
Hollywood.
I'm glad they're still around too. I'm always glad to see like them in credits and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and they still do a ton of work. Especially, yeah, they do a lot with like fur,
Yeah.
like the kind of natural creatures, if you will.
So obviously,
Um,
making this more about the movie or making the movie is an interesting idea. At least from memory, it's more in this than the original. I haven't seen the original in a long time.
Yes.
But obviously, here we have one of I think the more controversial things in this movie, which is Jack Black. I really like him in this movie, and I think I think he does a really good job. How do you guys feel?
I
yeah,
had
I
like a
think
real.
he's
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I've been talking too
what
much. You guys go.
I think he's actually cast pretty well. I can see someone watching this for the first time now, especially with the moment that Jack Black is in his career right now, which is very much watching this for the first time and being distracted by his presence. But I don't know. I think that he blends in pretty well.
Yeah, I had like a real epiphany with him today, uh, because I was thinking about it from this perspective, where especially if you know the '90s version that he almost made, uh, Denham's like just straight up the bad guy in that version. And I think here you still have elements of that where it's like he is this really terrible person. And Jack Black almost feels like a way to kind of reel that back in, where it's like when you really like break down everything that he's doing, all the choices he's making, he is pretty terrible. But Jack Black, just as like a charismatic person, eases it
Makes him likable.
down. Yeah, it brings that back a little bit, so it almost kind of splits the difference between like a book and movie John Hammond.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah, he's
I
definitely.
oh sorry, go ahead, Robert.
Uh, well, he's definitely more of an antagonist than Denham is, like in the original movie. But you're right, the casting softens him a bit. And I think when you know what he's going for and what the take is, it makes more sense. I think Roger Ebert compared him to like an Orson Welles type, and that's totally what he is. This really eccentric, young, ambitious filmmaker of that era.
Mhm.
So and I like that take.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's 100% what
Um,
they're looking at. And when you
No,
go back to the '90s one, where he's just like straight up the bad guy, like they even have him die in that theater scene when King Kong
Yeah.
escapes.
no, I had some of that when watching it earlier, especially as you get later in the movie, and there's an argument to be made that he gets a lot of people killed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Uh,
I don't think
Tyler
that's an
says.
argument.
Uh, Tyler says, I think part of the reason I love this movie is because it's like 3 movies in one. The first act is a meta making of movie, then you have the adventure film, and finally have the remake of the iconic 30s film. I mean, I could see that, but I wouldn't say that's 3 movies in one. That's just the original movie stretched out.
That's still the yeah.
Yeah, the
like
original still has
cut line.
those 3 breaks. It's like I said, the entire movie is just the original film multiplied by 3.
To,
Where
to
it's-
its point, though, I do really like the meta stuff. I mean, we mentioned Cooper, the original director, in the scene. So I do,
RKO was mentioned earlier too.
And we're
yeah,
gonna
I
get
like
a
the
fade,
meta stuff.
and we're gonna get a
Yeah.
callback to the actress from the original too. Her name's escaping me at the moment.
Yep. It was
Fay
supposed to be
Wray
in this.
Oh.
and died shortly before filming, I believe.
Oh.
But so John,
Yeah.
the original plan, and I think this maybe goes back to the '90s version.
It does, yeah.
She was gonna have a cameo at the end, and she was gonna get the big line, the
Oh.
"Beauty that killed the Beast" line, which would have been cool from a meta perspective, but I think in context the original version still works better. But it's a shame that she died before they started filming.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like I get why you would do that from a meta point, like you said, but it doesn't really make sense when you think about it because it's like,
Yeah.
why is this random person walking
this
over
person?
and just knows
You
the
have to
theme of
set
the
that up.
story?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
like
I
that's
mean-
a little awkward.
Yeah.
Yep. I also forgot that Colin Hanks was in this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Early movie for me.
Probably early role for him. Yeah.
Sorry, who?
The guy in the
Colin
glasses
Hanks,
here, the
Yeah.
Denim's
Colin
talking to.
Hanks' son.
He made the John Candy documentary.
Yeah,
You
I
did?
saw that. It was good.
It's a pretty good
Mm.
documentary.
I haven't seen that.
He filmed it just like Denim. He was like, I'm gonna like go in and
It was in the
I'm gonna
wild
go to
in
my
Canada,
dad's
protecting
house
the
for real.
wildlife. And then John Candy showed up like King Kong and stole.
King
I don't know who
Candy.
he stole, but he stole somebody.
Still Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, John Candy kidnapped Dan Aykroyd. Twas Dan Aykroyd killed the beast.
It's
I
true.
can believe that.
He killed him with
movie,
his
but-
Crystal Head
With
vodka.
vodka. Yeah.
This movie,
That-
but Anne is the same movie, but Anne is played by Dan Aykroyd would be the best film of all time.
Anne Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
This is probably the first thing I see Naomi Watson. I think she's amazing in this movie. I think she's perfectly cast.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic in this.
Pretty much great in everything that I've seen her in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I think this is the first thing I see her in too.
Yeah, I don't remember if Mulholland Drive comes out before or after this movie.
That was before.
I think it's
that was
before, yeah.
2000. Yeah.
Like we said before, this is my first time watching this. I remember a lot of people like early, I guess not early internet, but early when I was on the internet, like in the late 2000s, like middle to late 2000s, people like were kind of clowning on this movie and didn't like it. I don't know what
Yeah.
that was about because it's been kind of. I think a lot of people like it now.
I think
Yeah.
it still is. It exists
was
in a
like
weird
that.
place. Like like the excessive, like I said, self-indulgent nature of it. I think either flips you gel with it or you really don't. So like I feel like general audiences kind of went, this is like way too long for like no reason. Like I was looking at it today and it's got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes and like a 50 for audience, and I was like, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I can buy that.
And it was profitable. It made like $500 million. Like it was a hit, but not on the level of like Lord of the Rings, which I'm sure is what Universal was hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real
Well,
quick.
this is a weird one. Oh, okay.
Sorry,
go
real
ahead.
quick. Tyler asks, "Who's your favorite character in this movie?" And you guys are watching the Ultimate Cut, right? Yes, we are watching the Ultimate Cut. My favorite character, I don't know.
King Kong.
We just got to
Yeah,
a
well,
line that I really like, which is when he says, "I'm someone you can trust. I'm a movie producer."
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
I was thinking human character, but yeah, it would be King Kong, of course.
I'm cheating. Of course, it's King Kong.
No, and Robert, with what you were saying before, Universal also sat on this for a long time because this was part of when the '70s remake happened. There was that like big legal battle, and the rights get like split off between two different studios to remake it, and we get the '70s one, and Universal gets it at the same time, and they just kind of held off until eventually we get this.
They did make a ride at Universal Studios in the
Mhm.
80s. That's like the one thing they did
Yeah,
with
and
this
then it burned
property.
down.
And then it burned.
They
It
do
was
have a
fire
new one
that killed the
based
beast.
on this version though.
They do. It's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't been to it. Every time I've been to Universal, they're building something I really want to go to. The first time was the Simpsons ride, and the second time was this ride. So I'm like, I gotta go back.
Gotta go back.
And obviously,
It's fun.
Austin and I have talked about this, and we played most of it on the channel, but unfortunately, it broke. The video game for this is one of my favorite games of all time. It's just so much fun.
It is a good tie-in game. And the rare tie-in game where the director's really involved
Yeah.
with it. Like, it is Peter Jackson's King God. Like,
No,
his name's on the
that-
game for a reason.
That game has kind of a weird place where, like you said, the director's involved and like the cast is involved for the most part. Like that's a game that feels like they wanted to make versus a studio just, well, we got to release this tie-in game because we got the license.
Yeah, it's not shovelware. It's like an actual good game.
Not like the last King Kong game, which was shovelware.
And Austin, earlier you mentioned, was it Denham who was supposed to be a pilot, or was it another character?
I was Driscoll.
It's Driscoll. Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that though, because in the game, another part of that script I know about it. I'm glad you mentioned that is Driscoll was going to be in one of the planes in the climax, like fighting the other guys, and that idea they worked into the video game. So it's not in this version, but they did recycle that idea for the video game. I think you have to fly around and like shoot the headlights or something.
That's in the alternate
I
ending,
think you just
isn't
shoot
it?
down the other planes. You have to, because it's the alternate ending. You have to
Mhm.
survive long enough as Kong, and then you take over as Jack Driscoll, and you shoot the other planes down. And then we cut to King Kong got back to Skull Island. We brought him back. It's a happy ending.
And Jack went to prison for murdering pilots.
Nobody cares.
Tyler
It was
says,
love that killed those pilots.
yeah.
Jack didn't do anything.
Tyler says the ultimate cut is probably worse, but that's just because they add in like one action scene in the water.
Okay, but it's a fun action scene.
Is that all?
I
About
actually,
and there's
I've
more,
heard
and
of
there's more.
I've heard of that boat scene. I maybe because when this came out when I was a kid, that was like when I was getting interested in movies. So I spent a lot of time, like picking over deleted scenes and like special features and stuff. So I maybe seen some of these deleted scenes just on that original DVD that way.
Yeah, and I also want to mention with the different cuts, I prefer the longer one. To me, it's just the movie. But also, it's not substantially longer than the other cut. This isn't a Lord of the Rings situation where there's like 30 or 45 minutes put back into it. This longer
It's a
cut's like
Hobbit
12 minutes
extended.
long. Yeah, exactly. It's like 12 minutes longer than the other one, so I think might as well watch this. It's a long movie
Yeah.
regardless. And I'll also be the first to admit, with the theatrical release, as speaking as someone who loves this movie, I don't think the theatrical cut of this should have been over 3 hours. I think that was a mistake from business perspective and a general audience, because that's like the big talking point around this movie. Like Hayden was talking about, was people just saying it's too long. We're on the boat forever, and I don't agree with
Why
all
is
those
it gotta be
criticisms.
45 minutes to get to the island?
Yeah, and I don't agree with all those criticisms, but I think you could easily shave off another 15 minutes just to get it under 3 hours, and I think they should have done that. But oh well.
Well, I mean, that's just part of the like kind of epic nature of it. When I was really paying attention to the breakdown of structure this time, where it's 45 minutes, it's about 45 minutes to get to Skull Island, and then when we leave, we have about 45 minutes left, and then kind of everything else is on the island, which is probably a good breakdown.
Yeah.
So like half
Uh,
island,
for-
half not island.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Tyler,
and I mean,
oh, sorry, real quick. I'm just keeping up with the chat. Tyler thinks that the water scene makes the island sequence too long. It ruins the pacing, and he says it's like 21 minutes longer. It is not. It is 12
It's not,
minutes
it's 13.
longer.
but
12, 13 minutes longer, and that's directly from the back of this.
I do think it's too repetitive, and we'll get there. Where the stuff that's cut, I totally get why this was cut, because like nothing substantial happens in the scenes. I just think they're fun. Like,
Yeah.
and the movie's
That's
already
fair.
over 3 hours.
It's a
to begin
12.
with.
It's a 12-minute difference. Like I think you could watch either cut and be happy.
But what I was saying was, especially with all this boat stuff, is that's especially where we're just going, okay, here's little bits of each person, so when we get there, we have like 5 or 6 people that we know, and we're like, okay, we know who this person is, and they get little arcs, and it adds some personality to the movie. Like I think it's fine that it takes
Yeah,
that long to get to the island.
I mostly agree. I think there is a lot of character development given to some side characters that doesn't really go anywhere, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
It's something I more have mixed feelings on. But
No,
I
it's
like
fine.
I really like the movie's take on Jack. I like making him the writer. Again, all the meta stuff we were talking about. I like the extra development and backstory for Anne, building up more of her desperation and kind of also getting conned onto this. All this stuff I think is fun.
I love how he
Getting
gets.
kidnapped.
I love how he gets conned and it's getting stuck on the ship. Also,
And then this is
oh sorry, go ahead, Dave.
this is my headcanon for how he gets on the planet in Predators.
Yeah,
That
Ooh.
tracks.
I buy this is the same character.
Obviously.
I mean, he's really fucked after the events of this movie, probably.
I just noticed how old this.
How did you notice this isn't Earth? I don't know. I just fought a big ass fucking monkey. I've seen some shit.
I know what Earth looks like.
Hayden, because you're the only other one that has this 4K. I just noticed this still has the old 4 times sharper than HD. Like we don't do that anymore. That's really funny.
Don, I have it.
Yeah, that's why I said because you're the only one that has it.
I have
you're-
it.
Oh,
But the best supporting character though in this film is of course the Chinese cook in the original, who gets split into 2 different characters, which are just the 2 things I can describe the original character. Chinese cook. He gets split into the cook and just a Chinese crewman.
I think he's the cook's like assistant in this.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you obviously need 2 characters for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's worth it when the other one's Andy Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis couldn't have been a Chinese cook. He can be the cook, and then he's friends with the Chinese guy.
Well, he
We did not
could have
Andy
been the
Serkis
Chinese
motion
cook.
capture a Chinese man for this movie. It was considered, but they didn't do it.
He finishes all of his mocap, and he's like, "There we go. That's my Kong performance." They're like, "No, dude, we haven't started on Kong yet.
Dude,
that was just you
that's
playing the cook." He's like, "What?"
Yeah, I was really confused about that scene where I had to boil a stew.
Bake a stew.
He's doing a stew. He picks up the ladle, and he's like, and looks at it like really emotionally.
Like, you don't have to do that. It's just the stew.
Yeah,
I
I don't
also-
like playing it that way.
I also like to
I can
imagine the
see,
guys that made those new Planet of the Apes movies. Like this was his audition tape for those.
Yes.
You played monkey once,
be
play
pretty-
monkey again.
Play smaller monkey.
He is the Monkey Man.
Yeah, Andy Serkis is obviously most famous for Gollum in the Lord of the Rings movies, but this is my introduction to him. And one of those early movies where I watched like all the bonus features and stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, a guy like played Kong," and I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was just. I
And-
assumed he was just animated.
We'll talk about it when we get there. Kong still looks amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that it looks as good as it does in 2005 in the daytime is insane.
Mhm.
You and I have talked before. I think effects. I mean, we talked about this already, but I think effects in the 2000s are like miles ahead of where they are now, and it's really sad.
Yeah.
It's really strange, like going back to stuff like this or like Davy Jones and the Pirates sequels. Like,
That's Dead
Why
Man's
does this
Chest
look
is
better
like a
than today?
perfect looking movie.
yeah,
But
Those
it's
guys
because
just know how to use facts. Yeah.
we weren't making as many of these types of movies back then, and FX artists weren't stretched thin, rushing these out
Yeah.
every month.
that's the sad truth.
Yeah,
I
like
like
I
that
think it's
we-
both that and just you also have directors that just know how to work with this stuff.
I like that we get a little bit of setup there for later in the movie.
Chloroform.
Is this not the guy that was just cast as Hal Jordan? Because he looks a lot like him.
That's Kyle
Yep.
Chandler,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the main guy in King of the Monsters.
Yep.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
been in at least 2 movies with Kong in different universes because he's also in
Yep.
Godzilla vs Kong.
Yep.
That's funny.
I did. Yeah, when I watched Godzilla vs Kong, I didn't even think about that. Because like I've
He's
seen
in
this
that
movie.
one for like a minute, but yeah.
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 Well, and I've seen this movie a lot, but I don't ever remember him because I feel like he just disappears at a certain point.
Oh yeah. Or is this Tom Holland?
Yeah.
I was gonna say this.
Come
kid
on,
looks a
Jimmy,
lot
it's
like Tom
clobbering
Holland.
time.
And
Jimmy.
to Robert's point earlier, where we kind of flesh out even some side characters, I like that we give time to the dynamics that are already on the ship within the crew.
Yes.
It makes me care about more of the characters, even the ones that are going to get killed in horrific ways. And we'll get there. There are some horrific deaths in this movie.
It's part of that kind of self-indulgent nature where it's like it's adding personality to the movie, but like most movies would just cut around this and they're all just kind of red shirts.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Okay.
there are a lot of red
there-
shirts in
There
this.
are side character red shirts and like red shirts who have like no dialogue, like or are just here to die, and we'll get to it. But I'm going to try to count every person that dies in this movie.
Because I
Is
do
that the
not
end?
buy Denham's
Oh.
number. When he said it, I was like, "There's no way more people died than that."
He says 17 people died, and I'm like, I think it was a lot more than, especially if
Yeah,
you're
these
watching this cut.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot more than 17. I
Like-
watched the theatrical before this, and I was like, "There's no way only 17 people died."
Like, I really like that dynamic with that kid and the, I don't know, was it second in
Thanks,
command or
and
whatever?
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the first mate.
Yep. No, and Kyle Chandler's character feels like somebody that would get killed in a monster film, and they take it in a different direction.
Well, he's also kind of a pastiche of Jack from the original movie, and I think that's fun. There's something charming the way they approach it, and not in like a modern sense where it's like, oh, we need to fix the original, we need to like stop the movie and lecture. It's like I like it, I like the
Yeah.
way they go about it. It also helps that we make Jack like himself basically a completely different character here as the writer.
Well, and Jackson loves that original movie too much to do something like that.
No, it's more Jack Driscoll specifically is like the big swing of this movie in terms of choices, where everything else it's kind of just expanding on the original, and that one's like
Yes.
specifically like I'm gonna take a swing and do this completely differently.
I will say I don't like this scene. This is the one thing where I'm like, ugh. I've seen too many of these awkward comedy scenes.
Yeah, it's just the wah wah.
And it goes on for way too long.
Yeah, because she thinks this is Jack, but it's not actually Jack. It's a misunderstanding shenanigans. Because funny.
Misunderstandings.
I also
Whoa.
that's exactly the term. I also think it's a mistake to have this character with the glasses, because I don't know if you guys have had this problem. I think he looks way too much like Colin Hanks, and then something will happen later where I'm like,
Oh,
wait, who is that? I don't know if you guys have ever had that issue.
Wait,
We'll get to it.
interesting.
No,
I don't really
it had
have
been a
that.
while since I rewatched this, so when Colin Hanks came back, I was like, wait a minute, I thought he died.
I thought, yeah, no, give this guy a mustache or something.
Yeah,
Like,
until you said something
They do-
for like a minute there,
yeah.
I just thought that was the same guy from earlier.
nope. Okay, I'm glad we're not alone with this.
I guess he should have
No,
given
those
different
two people are like
glasses.
the characters in The Creature Walks Among Us, where there's just like 3 or 4 guys that are just the same man.
Well, I also have that with John Carpenter's The Thing. I needed several rewatches of that movie to really be able to tell like who everyone in the background was, because there's a lot of bearded white dudes in that movie that look the same.
Oh,
I forgot about
Oh,
until I watched this. I forgot about this where like somebody vandalized all the posters.
And this is one of those bits I remember in the theatrical cut thinking, you probably could have cut that. I don't. It's just
get
lots
that
of
comb
bits
out of
like
your
that.
face.
no.
No.
You can't cut anything.
Uh,
In
Austin-
fact, make it longer.
Austin, would you
Exactly.
be interested in seeing Peter Jackson tackle like a Godzilla movie as a kind of a companion to this?
Well, I feel like the companion to this on Godzilla side is -1, which was something I said immediately walking out of it. So I don't necessarily need that. I don't know if he. I would just be happy for Peter Jackson to come back and direct a movie that's not a documentary. So
Please come
yeah, I don't
back,
care what
Peter.
it is.
Yeah.
We
I'm
need
getting
you.
Gore Verbinski back and Sam Raimi's back. We need the
Yeah.
big 3 of the 2000s to come back.
Yeah.
When all three, like what you were saying earlier, all 3 of those guys know how to use CGI well, and they were, they made some of the best blockbusters of this time.
Well, real quick, I want to rewind to what you said, Austin, because I could see it, what you're saying, but expand on that. How is -1 a companion to this?
Well, I just think it is to Godzilla what this is to King Kong, where it's just kind of like a love letter to the original film that like
Just a
takes
period
it.
piece.
It's period piece. It takes it and just kind of expands on it. Like in different ways, because obviously, like I said, this is the original King Kong multiplied by 3. While -1 is more okay. Here are all the big beats, and we're gonna take that and like make a new Godzilla film out of it. But just like immediately walking out, I was like, I feel like this is Peter Jackson's King Kong to Godzilla.
This is also a weird choice, like the sudden
I
slow
know.
mo.
I noticed the 2000s.
This was a
I
trend.
did not like that editing at all.
But this
No.
is how you know it's intense, because Skull
Skull.
Island.
Uh, I love this scene. This is what I was talking about earlier. So the
It's
movie
great.
within the movie they're making, John, their dialogue back and forth here, is dialogue from the original movie.
Oh,
This is how
okay.
Jack is in the first movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's like, I
I
don't think women should be on this ship. They're a
Yeah.
nuisance.
I remember that scene.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that
beautiful.
is fun.
The only thing we're missing is the other best line of the original film, where the Chinese man walks in and goes, "Crazy black man been here."
That's true.
Oh no.
I haven't seen the original in a long since Austin and I did a video on it with some. I think there was somebody else there, but I don't remember. But you and I did, because we did Godzilla and King Kong, the originals. But that's been
Oh, that makes
3 or 4 years ago.
that makes sense. Yeah.
But that scene was what I was talking about with Kyle Chandler's character being kind of a pastiche of Jack from the first one in a loving charming way. It's not like the Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they're like, "Oh, Sokka's kind of sexist in the old show. We need to fix that and
Ugh.
take all that out." It's like you missed the context. You forgot the character arc.
See,
Yeah,
you
I
brought that
forgot
up,
about
and now
that.
I'm annoyed again.
Well, to
Yeah,
the
I
point
forgot about
where,
that.
and I didn't catch this, but like until today, but when we do Kong on the stage, and it fixes my favorite thing about the original, which is just that the show is just, I don't know, we put a monkey on a stage and there's nothing else. They at least do like a show
Hey.
around him, but they
monkey.
reenact the
Big
original
monkey.
film where it's like the same looking thing that ends in, and I'm pretty sure all the natives in that are also people in blackface in the state on the stage.
No, I have other
It's a good
questions
one.
about that show at
More
the
than
end,
the
but
original.
we'll get there.
Mhm. So it's just taking things like that where it's like, I don't know, a lot of love and care, both poking fun at in the ways that you would,
Yeah.
but also just Peter Jackson loves this film. Like in a way, this is the ultimate fan film.
Yes. I wanted to talk about that too, because this feels like it's in a very specific subgenre of like movies that inspired filmmakers to like what to make movies, and then they remake that movie decades like John Carpenter's The Thing.
Like the thing, yeah.
I wonder if we could come up with any other examples of that, but this is very specific. This isn't just studio has an IP, we want to reboot this franchise. Like this is a love letter through and through from a very specific filmmaker.
When
think,
Peter Jackson like remade this when he was a kid, we like made like
Mhm.
a little King Kong, and he had it was like a 15 millimeter camera I think his parents had that he borrowed, and he like remade it as a child.
This is some of the green screen stuff I don't think looks too bad. Like, yeah, it looks fake, but there's something kind of old Hollywood about it here that I think looks fine.
No, I noticed it
But
more once we get to the island.
yeah,
It's not as distracting here because they're making a movie, I guess.
sure.
So
Well,
you're
and it's
good
also
at that,
like, well, I think it also
Set
helps
up
that
the
it's the.
background.
I think it also helps that it's the ocean, so it's a much more simplistic background. Once you get to the island, you've got all the jungle and the trees and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think I have kind of what Robert was saying with that. Where there's a lot of spots where I'm like, it almost looks like a painting. Like it look very like old Hollywood. Like I have that with the ending when they're standing on the Empire State Building. So I don't really have like a lot of issues with that. There's a couple effect stuff that I think is rough, but
I agree.
Tyler.
one of the big ones is really just because they made a mistake in terms of digitizing models, which is the brontosauruses, where they didn't make new models like they did for the other monsters. They just digitized the models they made for the '90s version, which didn't look good.
Uh, Tyler says Del Toro just did Frankenstein, but I don't know. I don't remember what he's responding to.
Oh,
So
because
What
Robert was
Robert
like,
just said.
yeah, examples of filmmakers making
Oh,
remaking
yeah,
of
okay,
that's a good
Disney.
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then
Yeah,
Tyler.
it's like a
gonna say-
lifelong passion project
Mhm.
for him, so that's fair.
I was
And
gonna say more Shape of Water with that. Like, not that it's literally a
Sure.
remake of Creature, but
Yeah, I think either one could fit. And then real quick, we'll swing back around to this topic. But Tyler asks Hayden, how are you finding the movie?
I mean, we're not that. I don't think we're far enough in for me to have like a concrete opinion right now.
Do you love it or do you hate it?
Are you
Hayden, how do
enjoying
you
it as
feel
it
about
goes?
splitting the Chinese cook into two characters?
That's unacceptable. It should have been Andy Serkis as the Chinese cook, but
Yeah. Well, that is for people who don't recognize it. That is Andy Serkis there in the mustache.
Yeah.
He is.
As a lumpy, and he's great. I love him in this.
no, I am. I'm liking it so far.
Wait,
I'm
have you
not
just
talking
never
a lot.
seen this?
No, I've never seen it.
No, this is a blind.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Shocking.
Oh,
You got to remember, Hayden's
stop
never seen a movie.
spoiling the story.
I've seen the original.
No,
No,
We
okay.
can't let him know that King Kong dies in this.
No,
Oh,
this is very
no.
different than the original. Anne takes out King Kong Old Yeller style in this one. I'm sorry, Kong, but this is not a world for you.
Just look at the flowers, King Kong.
That'd be so good.
It's
the
okay,
assassination of
everybody. The
Jesse James.
shotgun got him. No, 'twas Beauty that killed the beast.
The
Uh,
shotgun got him.
I really like the captain in this. And the actor looks really familiar, but I can't place him.
Are you talking about
But he's-
Hayes, the first mate?
No, I think he's
No,
talking about the captain.
The captain.
Eaglehorn? Oh, yeah, I just didn't see him in that scene.
Not Faramir.
Oh.
Pretty good score
Colin
too.
Hanks is freaking out.
I almost said Chet Hanks. That's different.
Chet,
Well, now
that's
that's a
Hanks.
different guy because he doesn't have glasses.
Exactly.
We've taken away his only recognizable thing that he shares with someone
Well,
else.
They really should not have given those two characters the same glasses.
Yeah.
Are they
I mean,
ever
I
in
can
a
tell them
scene
apart,
together?
I don't think so.
They might be the same prop.
I am having a little bit of these people look very similar with a couple characters in this.
Yeah, you're like, why
Yeah.
is Anne dancing with a clone of herself?
I can't tell the difference between Naomi Watts and Jack Black.
And
Jack, yeah.
Adrian Brody. They're very similar looking.
Jack Black and Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, why did Jack Black do a Predator movie after this? It's strange.
That'd be awesome.
I'd
Well,
watch that.
He is doing an Anaconda movie, and I was thinking of that on my last rewatch of
Oh.
this.
Adrian Brody is the original King Kong, and then Jack Black is this remake King Kong. That is how you tell them apart. One
Tyler
of them is excessively 3 times bigger.
Tyler says the captain is in Blade 2. Maybe that's what I recognize him from.
Oh. I forgot that.
In my version, the cook gets on the island and somehow mutates into King Kong, and that's how you explain that
tracks.
Andy
Yeah.
Serkis is both characters.
A King Kong like body horror movie would go hard.
He just turned into a giant gorilla.
That's what Rampage should have been.
The
It's
Rock.
cool that- Well, and what's fun about it too is so often when you have like a stunt guy or whoever playing the big monster, the director will usually throw them in as like a normal person, as like a cameo, like at the end of Predator. But I love that Andy Serkis gets like a full character to play besides Kong. That's so unusual, but it's great.
Yeah.
Like he's in a lot of this
cool.
movie.
I think
More
Adrian.
dramatic editing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There was more of that than I remembered, and what's weird is the first Lord of the Rings has some of that, like choppy, low frame rate
Yes.
slow-mo, and then he gets away from that in the sequels, but then he makes this movie and is like, now I'm bringing it back. I'm gonna make it a thing.
That's how you know it's intense.
This should have been a-
Skull.
No, he
I-
should have made this a 12-hour epic and split it into 3 also.
Well, I
The
was
big
laughing today too because before I watched this in preparation, I watched the second Gamera film, which has a very
Oh.
similar setup where they go to an island with natives and monster, but they get there and they're like, "Oh, this is the evil Rainbow Valley. You don't go there, you never survive." And I'm like, "Ah, it doesn't have the same ring to it as Skull Island. No,
No, I
wonder
like the
people keep
evil Rainbow
coming here and
Valley.
dying."
I think that's better.
Is that Gamer versus is it Barugon? Because it's like
Yeah.
one letter away from a Godzilla
Barugon.
monster.
From Baragon? Yeah, it's not Baragon, it's Barugan.
Oh, okay.
And they look very similar.
Yep. But it did kind of come back because he comes from Rainbow Valley and his attack is he shoots rainbows.
Yeah.
And Austin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the movie Kong Island was originally in development by Universal as a prequel to this movie.
Yep.
And then
I
they
still
just gave
remember
up on it
hearing
and
about
gave
that
it to
and
Warner
being
Brothers.
Oh, I'd never heard that.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot, but I almost wish we'd gotten that.
Not only that, but do you know who was supposed to direct it?
No.
Adam Wingard.
Oh,
Oh my god.
who then makes
Ooh.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah,
Huh.
there you go.
I
I
mean,
think it worked out.
I don't
'cause
hate
Kong
that
Skull Island's a
choice.
fun movie, and I like the MonsterVerse stuff. So
yeah.
Austin, now I want the Gamera MonsterVerse movie to be called Gamera Rainbow Valley.
Right? There you go.
I've never
but
seen any of the Gamera movies. That I just haven't gotten around to them.
He's a turtle, and he flies.
yeah, I'm finally going through them now.
I
They're
have
fun
the,
so far.
the Heisei. Apparently, the Heisei ones are like really good,
Mhm.
according to kaiju people. But
Austin, when they zoom in on the map, all I could think of is the loading screens from the King Kong game because that's what they are.
They're gonna say Lord of the Rings.
I was gonna say that's what I think of.
No, I didn't play a lot of those. I didn't have any of them.
What?
Well, I just
No,
I
in
just
Lord of the Rings, like in the movies, where we go into
Oh.
the map and then move around.
Sorry, I said the game, so I thought you meant the Lord of the Rings game.
No.
No, I just expect Blanchett to start narrating.
everything's connected. We just did a commentary on a movie scored by Howard Shore, and now we're watching a movie directed by Peter Jackson.
yeah.
Everything's connected.
3 Kongs were given to the elves. 8 Kongs were given to the men.
So if we
That
ever
one got
do
close
if
to
we
it.
ever do get Kong out of the MonsterVerse stuff and do like a remake of this again, who would you guys want to see tackle that?
oh, I don't know.
I have no
Ron
idea.
Eggers.
Eggers or Mike Flanagan.
Mike
There
Flanagan's
Robert
King.
Eggers' Kong is crazy.
Mike Flanagan's
Eggers'
Kong
King
would be
Kong.
peak.
That's
Did you-
wild.
Did you guys not catch what I said?
No.
I didn't. Sorry.
No.
Uwe Boll.
Oh god.
Oh hell yeah!
He already made Rampage.
No,
No,
that's a very different
Robert.
Rampage.
I will only accept Mike Flanagan's Kong if he makes King Kong able to talk so he can deliver all the monologues.
The monologues.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's played by Flanagan's wife.
Yeah.
No, but I want.
No, she would be
he can't talk,
Anne.
but he still does the monologue, so it's like.
Yeah, there's subtitles.
No.
No subtitles. It's just a lot of
No,
monkey
you have
noises.
you have to buy the companion book that like gives the
Okay.
translations for you, so you can follow along.
How silly of me! I just assumed that there would be subtitles. But...
Incorrect.
No, Flanagan hates subtitles. But
Flanagan's famously anti-subtitle. He's like, if you're
Yeah.
deaf, fuck you.
if you watch any of his shows and you check none of them have subtitles, because he's very anti them.
I like the idea that the guy who made Hush hates deaf people.
That's why he made that film. He was like, I'm just gonna fuck with a deaf person for 2 hours.
Aw. I do want to see Robert Eggers' King Kong though. I just like a 4:3
Oh, no.
aspect ratio, black and white.
Just so we can get Defoe as the native chieftain when we get to the island.
It'll also probably be really weird and really horny.
Yeah,
Robert-
I mean, it's King Kong.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it'd be,
it's Robert Pattinson as King Kong, but he's just a guy in a suit.
Hell yeah.
No, Bill Skarsgård. he's got
Oh
the
my
same
god,
thing.
I just imagine like that exact shot of the lighthouse where Pattinson's holding the mermaid, but it's King Kong holding Anne.
Oh no!
No, wait.
Oh
We
no.
have to go back.
I just imagine
I-
like Nosferatu and when he's like standing and his dick's out, but it's Kong.
Yes.
I
Oh, yeah.
really
I
love
love
the
Tiny Dick.
atmosphere and the build up to this reveal.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, and again, just because I'm kind of the target audience of this movie, I don't find the first act super boring. I have to be in the right mood for this movie. But
I
like the build up.
I definitely did as a kid, but as I've gotten older, I've come to really appreciate all of the build up. And
Yeah,
Character
I'm not bored
work.
by this so far.
When we get all the Lord of the Rings statues here too.
well, he really perfected his style with this movie.
Why didn't he make it a trilogy though? It should have been
It should have been.
one film on the boat, one
Yes.
film on Skull Island, one film in New York. What
A
were you
movie
doing,
of
Peach?
just Kong rampaging through New York would have been peak.
For 3 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sequel to this.
That is the unfortunate thing is Kong films should come in twos because they always do, except for this one, and now the MonsterVerse. This should have had a shitty, really cheap sequel.
No, it should have been. It should have been like somehow a remake of both Son of Kong and King Kong Lives. Son of Kong Lives.
Oh God.
Kong lives.
Son of Lives Kong.
I think Peter Jackson did like an April Fool's joke where they announced Son of Kong after this came out, starring Jack Black.
Well,
Oh.
honestly, it's funny. Earlier, you were like, "Oh, Mom, they didn't make a sequel to this movie immediately after. You don't know how this works." Like, but if what we were talking about was Son of Kong and not King Kong Lives, that would be accurate because I still haven't seen Son of Kong. That movie was rushed out like less than 8 months after the first one. Like,
Yeah.
King Kong and Son of Kong come out the same year in 1933.
But it wasn't like 2 weeks after it came out in theater. Straight to DVD before the first one's on DVD.
It's not quite the same situation, but I kind of have that with like Godzilla, kind of the same thing where it's Godzilla comes out and then Raids Again is like
Raids
really
Again is
soon, and
super-
then a gap.
Yep.
It's a 7-year gap, right? And then we get King Kong versus Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Is
something
that-
like that. I think.
That's 62, and Raids Again is 55, I think.
Yep.
Okay,
That's right.
that's right.
Tyler says
Yeah,
that
so
he
this
thinks
needed a shitty sequel.
Tyler picks Alfonso Cuarón. I don't know how you say that name, but the guy that did the third Harry Potter.
I like him.
Yeah.
I
Prisoner
mean,
of Azkaban.
Yeah, he's-
all I have to judge him on is Prisoner of Azkaban, and that's a fine movie. I don't know if I'd pick him for Kong based on that.
Children
Yeah,
of Kong.
I think Gravity is a great spectacle. It's like a very CGI heavy movie.
I haven't seen
Get
it.
to Fede Alvarez, and we'll get Kong Romulus.
Kong
No.
lives.
I can see it though. They go to Skull Island looking for treasure, not making a movie, and they're just a bunch of thieves, and then they get stuck.
Yeah. They have to deal with Kong.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I was trying to.
Honestly, I don't know if that'd be a bad movie.
That could be cool. But I was trying to think of a serious answer to your question of which director I would pick. The problem is I can't think of a lot of blockbuster
I mean,
directors.
my heart says I want to see Raimi's King Kong, but
That would be cool, but I can't think of a lot of like newer directors. that
Yeah,
I'd
if
like to see.
That's what I
no,
have.
I
we've
want
said
somebody
that-
newer.
Robert Eggers, Flanagan.
And John, the film that you just described is Ebra Horror of the Deep, which starts as a King Kong film, and then they go, just make him Godzilla instead.
And the problem is, for somebody like a Sam Raimi, I feel like his movie would probably be too similar to
Too similar to this. I was
because
thinking
him and
that
Jackson
too.
just have very similar sensibilities and
Yeah.
how they start. And
I got the
Cinema.
trailer for Raimi's new
Same with,
movie.
like, a
I'm so
Verbinski King
excited for
Kong.
that.
I'm really excited for that. It looks great.
It looks
Um,
stupid, but like in the best way.
I think my pick would, like, not joking, would just be an unknown. Like somebody that really is hungry to prove themselves.
Yeah.
as long as somebody who's like interested in visual effects, like Austin was talking about,
Yeah.
that passion and
Maybe like maybe Dan Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
I'd be fine.
That could be cool.
Yeah. They'll give it to the guy who did Ant-Man.
No. Wait.
Get Peyton Reed out of here.
A Peyton Reed film.
I don't think those exist.
I don't either. What has
No.
he done other than Ant-Man? I don't
Just-
know.
Just to
Yes, man.
to
Yes,
spite
yeah.
Austin, Jordan Peele's King Kong,
Oh,
or Gary,
That could be cool.
or Gary Doberman.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That would burn
I
him.
want
why is
that.
specifically Jordan Peele to spite me? It would.
Because you hate
Gary
Jordan Peele.
was right there.
you know what? You brought up Jordan Peele, and that made me think of the other comedian turned director, Zach Kreger's King Kong.
Oh, I thought you were
yeah.
going to say Todd Phillips.
Actually,
No.
Zach Kreger. That could be cool.
Traeger's King Kong might go hard. Todd,
Todd Phillips' King Kong. Let's make it.
Because I just imagined it as like a shitty remake of the 70s remake. I shouldn't say a shitty remake of the 70s remake.
A shitty.
Here's more.
That's
Here's more
redundant.
of the early 2000s serious editing.
I love
frame rate.
I love Dutch angles. It's my favorite.
Wait a minute, Army of Darkness. Fuck. Apocalypse Now. Why did I say Army of Darkness? Apocalypse Now is what? It's scary. What's going on?
I don't. What?
You did it.
That's what the scene is, because he's reading the
He's
book
reading
for
Heart of
Apocalypse Now, and he's
Yeah.
reading
Oh.
Heart of Darkness, and he's like, wait a minute, this
He's
isn't an
reading-
adventure book at all.
He's reading
Yeah.
the back of a DVD copy of Army of Darkness.
There's
Tyler,
one of those Lord of the Rings statues.
I think if you were gonna remake this movie, you need Skull Island to be more of a concrete jungle. Like maybe he's made an actual throne, and he's got his own society.
I mean, we kind of have that now with the MonsterVerse.
Yeah.
It's just where we go.
I wouldn't want
Also,
that for
when
a
you said
remake of King Kong.
Also, when you said concrete jungle, that just makes me think of Predator. So now I'm just
Yeah,
picturing
me too.
Predator 2,
Yeah.
but with King Kong.
Predator versus
Oh,
King
yeah.
Kong would be peak.
Fighting voodoo men? That'd be great.
With Jamaican Jack Black, it can all connect.
This
Scene in
looks.
Predator 2 where he like crashes through the window of the voodoo guy, but it's Kong. Like
I love that just shot of the wall. Looks
It's
great.
so good. And also, like Lord of the Rings, a lot of model work in this movie. That's awesome. I love the miniatures, stuff like it. There's also a lot of CGI, but it's mostly blended well with like these really
And
cool,
just to
giant
expand it.
models.
Yeah.
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 Well, and
This is also where we get the Urukai.
and what's cool
Oh,
too is the game recreates this from 1-to-1. Like I'm looking at this and I can see the level in the game.
Yes. There's also a scene in the game that is not either cut of the movie that we've talked about before. That was in like the trailers and everything, where they're filming a scene here with Anne, and he says, "Now scream, Anne, scream for your life," and she screams doing the scene, and then we hear Kong yell for the first time. That's not in either cut of this movie. In Austin, we were talking about that before, and you were like, you
Yeah.
can still remember it just from watching.
I remember it from the trailer. Yeah.
it's probably
Well,
it's
and
not
then you
quite
still
that-
kind of have that, because you still have the scream and then the roar, but it's a very different context.
Yes,
Which is probably why
I'm
they cut
glad
that.
it's because it's a
Okay.
double beat.
Yeah.
it's not quite on the same level, and this wasn't on camera, but I'm kind of having a thing with this, like when John and Austin showed me Pirates for the first time, where I'm like, why haven't I seen this before?
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, I asked
No,
you that
it's-
when you told me you hadn't seen it. I was like, why haven't you seen this?
I kind of had that when I watched this for the first time a few years ago, because this would have been a movie I would have loved as a kid.
Yeah, for me, there was just kind of a golden age there of like new big adventure like period piece adventure films like Mask of Zorro, The Mummy, which you mentioned earlier, this Pirates of the Caribbean, like all very different movies, but all kind of
And then
scratch the same itch for
the
me.
genre died.
Yep.
Well, and I haven't seen The Mummy
Bring
either,
it
and I
back.
ordered that 4K because I know
Oh
I'll
my
like
God.
it.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Totally.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that was a blind buy for you.
Yeah,
No,
the
yeah,
mummy's
it was.
awesome.
Don't worry, guys. The Urukai love chocolate.
Yeah, I got the ultimate triple feature: Scott Pilgrim, Psycho, and The Mummy.
The Mummy.
Hell yeah.
Better be the '90s Psycho.
No, it's not.
That's Noah's favorite.
So this is our introduction to the natives in this movie, which is a choice. That's the word.
Certainly a choice.
Well, it's part of that excessiveness. It's the natives of the original times 3. And
He's
they're
freaking out.
crazy. They're basically the Bone Tomahawk natives.
Yeah.
I know
Which I've
people
not-
really hate that as a choice. I think it's fine in this movie. I don't.
I've
It doesn't
not seen-
bother me.
I've not seen it on
I-
Tomahawk.
I think
I need to see.
this and the Skull Island one, where we like really overcorrect from this, I think are both fine takes on the natives. I don't know,
fair.
but if you're offended by it, that's fine. Like it's,
Yeah.
I get it.
I think what Jackson was going for when they talked about is they wanted something so far removed from reality and like
Yeah.
there's not based on any tribe that like really exists
Well-
or a group of people that exist. This is so it's I think so it's just amped up to an 11. I get where he was coming from.
And it's
taking
genuinely
historical
scary.
lessons.
This scared the
Okay.
shit out of me as a child.
That
I just
I forgot the context, but yeah, because of the scream and then the roar. You're right. It's not that they're making a movie. It's the guy gets a spear put through him.
and that's the guy we were talking about where he gets killed. I'm like, wait, was that Colin Hanks? Oh no, that was the other. Because
The
Colin
other
Hanks is
one.
fine.
That
This
was
is
not
stunt
Paul
double.
Dano.
Oh, more editing. Here we go.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
like
This
Austin
stuff
said, it
scared
is
the shit
scary.
out of me as a kid. Yeah, it's genuinely scary, and it's one of those places because, like, with it being a monster film, it is like subgenre of horror, like in that it spawns from that, and you do get that represented in this film. These guys
Well-
are fucking scary. I mean, they just turn into the Bone Tomahawk natives.
I was
And
thinking
they just kill their first red shirt.
I was
Oh,
thinking
no.
of Green- I was
Okay,
thinking
we're
of-
at two. We're at two.
Well, okay, but
Green
so
and-
that's what I mean. There are side character red shirts and like red shirts. First, we had a guy who has a name and dialogue. Now we kill a guy who's just a nothing character, who is just there to die.
But I'm
So
I'm
we're
counting
at
it,
two.
Robert. I just opened up a
So,
note on
yeah.
my phone. I'm counting them, so we're at two.
Yeah.
We're doing the kill count this stream.
And now we're
Yeah.
at Green Inferno.
No, because Robert and I had the same thing. Where it's like, there's no fucking way only 2 people die. Or sorry, 17 people died.
Yeah, only 2 people die in this whole
Only
movie.
these 2 people died. No one else did. Okay, so we're at 2.
Yeah, and there is like good visual storytelling here, where you have the guy, they put him on the rock, they club his head in, and now they're gonna do the same thing to Jack Black's character, and like the blood is on his like, oh, it's a great shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very intense.
And the old witch lady being like, "Oh, Kong, he is coming for you."
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck, Faramir's back.
What is this?
Oh my god, he shot this guy into platoon. It's all so-
Everybody
doing
got
the
away and he
platoon.
hasn't hit the ground yet. I'm just saying though, Boromir would have killed all of these natives. Faramir only killed that one.
Boromir would have gotten a million arrows to the chest though.
So,
No, Boromir would have killed all the natives and nobody would have died. All
Oh.
17 people would have lived.
so Austin, do you think it's a double beat because we're gonna save them here, and then just have the natives take her anyway? So we just have to come back anyway. Do you think we could have trimmed
No,
that down, or does that work for you?
Oh, so I was thinking about it today because that's how it goes in the original as well. I feel like if you were remaking this, I could see why you would trim that down, but I also think it makes more sense that they leave and then she gets taken in the night, and it gives them more time to set up a ritual, as opposed to they just do it right there on the spot.
I kind of wish I'd
So
had
I
time to
think it
watch
makes
the
more sense
original
this way.
before I'd watched this.
Because that's where you
Right.
get the crazy black man's here.
We don't keep that line.
That's
we
that's
should
unfortunate.
have given it to Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about, where 2 guys just died, but we're only talking about the one's death, where it's a great scene, where he's like, no, we're gonna dedicate to him, we're gonna, his proceeds are gonna go to his family, it's great. What about the other guy that died? Now we're not talking about him. He's
I
not
heard-
a
was
just-
character.
That was just some crewman. They don't care. He was a crewman. The
That's-
other guy was
that
a
was just some
proper
guy.
film man.
I also
Yeah.
love that that's going to be kind of at least a one that's going to show up at least one more time, where he's going to have like that exact speech.
These natives would be really good at surviving tremors with this system they got here. Oh, bye, Noah.
That was dead.
Because they can go from rock to rock on their little
Yeah.
sticks.
Everything except for the potatoes.
Oh fuck, man! I got hit in the head.
Get out of my head, Kong.
Get out of my head, man.
I have that later with one of the V-Rexes. I was like voicing it while watching it. It's the one that's like it's almost like it's sleeping and it wakes up and sees Anne. It's like, oh, dude, what the fuck? We'll get there. It's really funny.
No, there's a lot more humor with some of the creatures than I remember. The first scene with Ann and Kong is hilarious because he's like a child throwing a temper tantrum.
Yes.
That's one of the
It's
best
so
scenes of the movie.
Yeah.
It's also the most relatable thing where he hurts himself doing a dumb thing and then he's just like
what is your guys' favorite design for Kong? Because I think for me it might be this one.
Oh, that's tough.
Mine's probably the original. I like this design for Kong, but at the same time, I do like the kind of otherworldly, like you can't pinpoint it on a specific kind of ape that you have with the original and the MonsterVerse version.
I might.
Talk. Go on, Hayden.
This might be controversial. Does just design? It might be MonsterVerse.
Oh, there's another death.
Oh, yep.
I love the original, and then this from like obviously I haven't seen him yet, but it is just a giant gorilla in this movie, design wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
They really lean into that. Which is funny because they gave the line to Andy Serkis, or the like neither beast nor man line, which is what Kong is. But in this version though, like they do really lean in. He's just a giant gorilla.
Specifically a
Which is
silverback.
fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we're just talking the design, my favorite might be MonsterVerse, specifically Skull Island, because there they went back to the original for how he looks, and I think it's like a perfect.
I also mean Skull Island because in I think in the Godzilla movies he's not too big. I don't. There's something about him where I just don't really like him.
He's got the beard.
Yeah.
That guy's eyes. Fuck, man. It's scary.
Crazy.
Tyler-
freaking out.
Tyler asked if we prefer this take on King Kong or the MonsterVerse. I mean, they're two different things. Like this is a classic King Kong. That is a monster movie fighting Kong.
That's an update on the Toho King Kong before it's an update on this.
Yeah.
And we love Toho King Kong, but
I think just design wise, I think I prefer this Kong, but I like the MonsterVerse one as well.
Yeah, I like the MonsterVerse one for that universe. I think gorillas are cool, and so like a giant gorilla is awesome.
Yeah, it's a gorilla but big.
Yeah.
Toho Kong is the best Kong, so.
No, I'm gonna raise you guys because I'm the only one. The original, the original gets the best shot of any King Kong, which is the face close up.
That's true.
It's a great gift.
The smile, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love this shot.
It's so good.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, and
Lord of the Rings coded.
100%.
Austin, you had mentioned
the
that
higher on their tower.
Austin, you had
calling
mentioned
the
that he needed to do Lord of the Rings to do this, and I agree specifically for this stuff because I don't think this looks anything like it does if he didn't make Lord of the Rings first.
Well, it's also just the hindsight of like seeing what the '90s version was supposed to be, because the '90s version I don't think would have ended up very good. Yeah. And when he finishes Lord of the Rings, he comes back to this and he's like, "Oh, this script sucks," and he throws it in the bin and starts again.
So, that's another reason I'm glad I'm finally seeing this. I love how big this is. Like, it's comparable to Lord of the Rings, but I'm way more of like a giant monster fan than I am a fantasy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I like this more than his Lord of the Rings movies, and I like those, but this is probably my second favorite Peter Jackson movie.
And I love Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm like,
Me too. And
Me
this
too.
this sequence is the perfect encapsulation of this entire movie's approach of it's the first one but bigger. In the original, and they take her out the wall and they chain her up and call it a day. Here, it's this big elaborate thing with like this bridge she's connected to that lowers, and it's awesome. I love this whole
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, we will get that original look when we get to the stage
Yes.
show, where like we just recreate that, and it's great. You get both.
Hayden, into the
This has
fire.
gotta
Stop
be
showing me these people's eyes. I don't want to see them.
this
They
has gotta be
creep
a
me
bitch
out.
on her arms.
What?
This would hurt
Oh,
like
yeah.
a bitch.
Yeah. Hayden, into the fire.
Into the fire.
Oh fuck, we didn't tie her wrists tight enough. She just falls.
She makes
He breaks her arms.
hamstring.
They're like, "Oh fuck! Who didn't tie her legs? You were supposed to do that too."
she makes the
She's
goofy
just
noise when he
dangling
falls
there.
off the cliff.
Oh no.
Oh
Here
no.
he comes.
Dennis Hopper in Mario the Mario movie where it's like a monkey.
Monkey.
Monkey. There he is.
Monkey.
I think this is a perfect reveal.
It's so good.
That's good.
Do you guys remember the like 8,000 edits that people made of this King Kong versus '98 Godzilla, like on YouTube?
No,
There's like a
but
million of those in early
that doesn't
YouTube.
surprise me that that exists.
Yeah.
They should have crossed over.
No.
Just so that this King Kong could kick that Godzilla's ass.
Yeah.
that's,
Even
that's
though
the
the
only time
Godzilla's
it's,
probably way
That's the
bigger.
only time Kong beats Godzilla.
that's the only time it's acceptable for Kong to beat Godzilla is if it's Zilla.
Hey.
King
Hello.
Kong's just like, fuck, guys, I can barely breathe here. It's so smoky.
Naomi Watts
Oh,
is also really
man.
good at doing just what I think is the iconic King Kong like end screen for this. Like when I think of that, it's I hear this version.
Oh, she's a great Scream Queen in this.
And for all the flack this movie gets for being too long and too slow, I think this handles the build-up way better than the 2014 Godzilla does, which is going for a very similar approach. And that's a much shorter movie than this, but I find the pacing in that worse than this.
Well, no, that if you
I
made
agree.
this movie like that, that would be like not getting to actually see Kong until the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Throughout,
Yep.
it's somehow you hit him throughout the entire Skull Island section, and then you saw him at the very end.
Yeah.
We would just only hang out with the V-Rexes, and then King Kong would show up to kill him at the end.
And I like that movie, but that would be
Because Godzilla's also like weirdly, like it's not his movie,
yeah.
but that's a whole other thing. But
That's a different conversation, yeah.
it's a different conversation entirely. But no, I agree. I think they handle all that really well. Same with I have that with the Empire State stuff, where he like holds on every moment, and it's got this it like adds to the tragedy where it's like maybe like we can hold out long enough that it's gonna be okay, but it's inevitable. And I think the way he holds like every moment, like extends every second of that,
I like the way
it
that
makes it
This-
so much more impactful.
This movie succeeds in making me feel bad for a giant gorilla that can't talk. I think that's impressive.
Well, and I think the approach to this is probably similar to one Del Toro would take if Del Toro made a King Kong movie, where with him and Peter Jackson, it's very clear on the screen that, oh, these are guys that grew up on these movies and sympathized with the monsters. In a way that maybe wasn't fully the original intention. I mean, I like King Kong's supposed to be sympathetic to a point in the original, But Peter Jackson's take is like, no, I want you to feel bad for him.
No,
I
King
want you to
Kong is
like
like a
violate
fully
I think-
fleshed out 3-dimensional character in this movie.
Yeah, the
Yes.
difference is that it's really sad in the original in that you're watching this animal that doesn't understand die, while here you're seeing two performances.
Yeah.
So I think it's sadder in this version. It's definitely sad in the original, but it's two different things in that way.
When I was rewatching this, I was just thinking of Del Toro's approach to like The Shape of Water and now Frankenstein, and thinking, oh, I think him and Jackson are a little
If he
comparable, at least like
if he
this
made
specific
if he
movie.
made it, Kong would have like healing powers and super strength and
Sure.
probably
Kong has
fly.
lightning powers in the Tohoverse. Anything's possible.
That's true.
Hell yeah.
No, they need to bring that back somehow. I want the next Kong movie to give him lightning powers.
This should have given him lightning powers.
Okay. This is the first really notable scene that's not in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, now we're in Predator.
Okay. Yeah, they're
Fuck, just shoot
shooting
into the woods.
Yeah. I wondered about that because when I was watching, I was like, I don't remember this.
Triceratops.
Yeah,
Oh, yep.
and
Dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur.
and then when spoiler alert, when this dinosaur dies, it's like the same
What
shot.
the
with- I
fuck?
think it's a Stegosaurus
What
in
the
the first
fuck,
one, where like,
Robert?
the tail goes up.
Hayden's
Yeah.
watching
Okay.
this for the
Us-
first time.
Austin, this is gonna fuck up our count because I can't tell who actually dies here or not. I think that guy died. The guy who hit the
Oh, yeah, I
tree.
think that guy died, so that's one. There's a couple of moments where it's like that would totally kill you, but like it's questionable.
Yeah,
Keep
I can
on
write-
going.
I can write one question mark so that we can have two. I'll write two question mark,
Fuck.
and then we can also count up if like both sides.
but then it's like you see it do the same thing to Adrian Brody, and he's fine.
Yeah.
But he's
I
out of
have that.
character.
I have that later when King Kong throws the boat.
I
Yes.
keep wanting to call Colin Hanks Chet Hanks. Like I can't get it out of my head.
The wrong Tom Hanks son.
I really appreciate the expanded like the dinosaurs and stuff in this because I think that's
Yeah.
something that makes Kong really cool as an idea. Is this is kind of the God? This is the only way I can think of it. It's like the literal lost world. Like this place is lost to time
And that's a concept that's just stuck around. Like DC Comics as Dinosaur Island. I think Marvel. What is it? The Savage
Marvel
Land?
does
Marvel,
Savage Lands.
yeah.
Yep.
But I only know
That's
I know the
something that I
Savage-
wish we kept in Skull Island, but we didn't. But it's whatever. Then MonsterVerse Kong never does the jaw snap. He's the only Kong that didn't get to do his iconic thing.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you could have done that
Uh,
in that last movie.
They should have done it in
And-
Skull Island against the Skull Walkers or whatever.
There's a lot of scenes like this with Anne where you're like, oh, this should totally kill her, but it's fine.
What do you mean? She's like a baby. He's just shaking her.
I mean, it is very visceral. I love this.
He's getting shaken baby syndrome.
Yeah. I love girl.
This is horrifying. No, he's literally like Darla in Finding Nemo. Like he's just the girl with that just keeps shaking the bag
Yeah,
of
just-
fish.
Yeah.
Well, and we're gonna get I think a
That's-
horrifying
That's why he's adorable.
and I think the implication that we're gonna get here in a minute
Look at
is
him.
really scary. Where you just see like a bunch of skeletons and skulls. It's like, how many people has he killed on accident?
Oh, so much.
Why? I don't think it's supposed to be an accident. I think he's eating these people. Like I think that's what the implication is there.
Oh, okay. Well, I just assumed that he did this with all of them and he killed them by accident because he doesn't understand that they're fragile.
He just wants a friend.
He's freaking out.
Ow.
Yeah, I always thought he was just eating them because he's like about to eat her before she stabs him.
Oh, okay. I just never thought about it
Just-
because yeah, He just seems like
I think
like
what
a
it is,
giant kid.
he just shook the other ones so hard they turned into skeletons. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
he shook the flesh off of them.
Shook their skin
Oh,
off.
he
yeah.
shook the flesh off their
No,
bones.
he did one of these. He put them between his hands and went like,
Slasher
Beautiful, I
Fred
love
says, "I remember when Universal Studios used to have the original animatronic King Kong ride before the 3D one."
That's awesome. Before it burned down, yeah.
Before the Fire Nation attacks.
Yeah, exactly. Before
Whoa.
Fire Kong happened.
Fire Kong. Like
Um,
Fire Rodan, but with Kong.
That'll be what Supernova's about.
Oh,
That new, because I'm going through my new comics, and the new issue of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong just came out, and it's got Kong versus Rodan in that issue.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Well,
we
we got-
talked. Sorry.
We got Burning Godzilla, so we need Burning Kong, where he just gets set on fire and like tackles somebody.
We talked over it earlier, but I love that line after they kill the big Triceratops looking thing. Like, are these things supposed to be extinct? And Andy Serkis says, "Yeah, they are now." And I think
missed
the
that.
movie
That's great.
it works better with that scene put back in too, because we're about to get to the Brontosaurus sequence, and I always thought growing up with first seeing the theatrical cut, in that cut, like it's very nonchalant how they react to dinosaurs, where they're like, "Oh, Brontosaurus is cool," and in this cut, I feel like makes a little more sense because they've already seen it.
Well, it was
Dinosaur.
No,
the,
good
Whoa,
call.
it's a fucking
Good call.
dinosaur.
it was the 30s. The dinosaurs only had died like 20 years ago.
That's
Well, the dinosaurs died out in the Great Depression.
Yeah,
I love that scene. He's just shooting at mosquitoes.
they're huge.
These fucking bugs are going to shoot them.
I gotta shoot the
Lumpy,
bug-
stop shooting bugs. You're shooting at really small targets, and you only have one eye open.
I like Popeye. Shut up.
Popeye with a gun.
That'll be the next public domain movie.
I was gonna say,
Popeye
yeah, the
with-
public
Popeye
domain
with a
one.
gun,
Popeye with a shotgun.
Oh god.
starring Rutger Hauer.
Okay, at least that guy with glasses I can tell apart from Colin Hanks because he's old. That's
Mhm.
nice. Like at least this
Well-
glasses guy, I'm like, oh, he's old. Like that. That's
All
a different
people with
person.
glasses look alike, Robert.
But that's just
Yeah.
the
I
same guy,
This,
except he
this
came
screen
from
is
the
pretty good
future.
evidence of that, Hayden.
I know. We all look the same except for Robert.
4 clones and Robert.
Ooh.
true.
But
Slasher
John-
Fred, if you
John's
guys
the
ever
leader of the
watch
clones 'cause
what?
you're the leader of the clones because you beat the rest of us in combat.
Okay.
Oh, so we're clones of John?
No, we're clones of like a nondescript other person, but John won.
What the fuck are you talking about?
just
I
don't
don't
understand
I
this
don't know. Slasher Fred, if you guys ever watched that show Super Friends, one of the villains on that show was Gorilla Grodd. I mean that doesn't surprise me.
I love
That's
girls.
a DC.
Oh, DC has plenty of monkey characters.
Yeah.
They love monkeys at DC.
I would say they have too many, but that's just
I want
Whoa,
a
whoa,
Gorilla
whoa, whoa.
I want
Can't say that, Hayden.
I want a
This is
Gorilla
not
City
too
movie
much.
so badly, but like
Yes.
they won't do anything with it.
Yeah.
I won't rest until we get a detective chimp movie.
Weren't they supposed to do a show at one point or something?
I want.
Yeah.
I would love a detective chimp that's like it's an R-rated, like he's solving like the worst crimes.
Robert, this is how it always
but-
starts with the ooh and the
Just a
ah, and then
monkey.
there's the running and the screaming.
Hell yeah.
We're watching a good movie, John.
Yeah, don't taint
Oh.
that with your boring shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh,
With your boring
Yeah.
version of King Kong.
yeah, quick rundown of DC monkey characters. There's Detective Chimp, as you mentioned, Gorilla Grodd, Monsieur
Still on
Mallah
this.
from the Brotherhood of Evil, Ultra Humanite.
Ultra Humanite.
I think Titano's like the big one that Superman fights.
Yep.
So it's at least
Okay,
5.
real quick, just to get it back to the movie that we're watching. Didn't you say something about this is like the '90s version of these or something?
Yeah, because
I
they
don't
like
think-
made models, then digitized them, and they didn't make new ones for the brontosauruses. They're the '90s models.
I don't think
Oh,
they
okay.
look that bad.
They looked better when I was rewatching it because it like just lives in my head as like this horrific effects sequence. But at the end of the scene, it gets really bad.
When the action really kicks in, it gets a little rough. I mean, they also don't look that far off from like the dinosaurs in the Disney movie Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, it's just a case where of all the other creatures, they look the weakest.
Well,
And then-
this,
Mhm.
yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, whether you think they look okay or not, like, all of the integration in the sequence is wonky,
It's rough.
especially as it goes on.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I loved this action sequence. I thought it was awesome. It's very
Same.
imaginative for a chase sequence. Like it's still really fun, but
Yeah,
the green screen gets rough.
yeah. No, I have the exact same thing.
Run.
Must go faster.
Jimmy, run! This is Jimmy's film.
They also have Homer Simpson mouths.
Go.
Merge.
Merge.
Marge, we're
Marge.
getting attacked by raptors.
Don't.
I cloned myself into brontosauruses this morning.
I made 50,000 Brontosaurus me's, Marge. Homer!
Homie, why did you do that?
I am Kong.
Okay, I'm seeing a little bit of I'm seeing a little bit of what you're talking about, Austin.
Yeah, there's a few bits like oh, somebody just got crushed.
Yep.
So that's 3, right?
No, that's at least 4, possibly 5.
Okay.
That was.
I like these raptor designs.
Yeah, they're cool.
That's another one.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's
Kicking your
kick
ass in
them.
the face.
No, this is one of the sequences where you have people just on a green screen pretending to run, and then it's just surrounded by all this CG, and it's just
Yeah. So
cool. It's a
I
great-
forget who made the point of like this character feels like he should die. That feels like the scene where he dies. You know, he sees
Right.
Yeah.
feels something on him and he looks up and there's a Austin, has Cap seen this?
I don't think he's seen any version of King Kong, like
Oh
of this
my
story.
God.
I mean, because he's seen Skull on. No, I have this written. I have this and the original written for my possible films for another Spooky Mania. I would maybe do this one just because there's like a couple things that come after this that would be interesting for him to talk about, like that he'd probably find more interesting. But it's
there's
also
a-
really long. There's another
Uh,
one.
that- That was the Wilhelm red shirt.
Yep.
This
Oh,
sequence
God.
right here is probably where it looks the worst, but I think this is one of the coolest parts of this
It's so
whole.
fun. Yeah.
Well, the worst is when they shoot them. That's when it gets like, ooh.
Okay.
Well, it's like everybody looks like they're running at a different speed.
Well, yeah, because like I said, like
Oh,
it
that
never
was
looks
really
good,
bad.
though. Like whether you're okay with the effects of the animals, none of them look like they exist together.
Right.
That
This
that
is a
close up
scene-
of Adrian Brody looked really bad.
And then this
Also,
is some of the worst stuff of it.
everybody should die, but they can't because we're following actual. Colin Hanks should be dead. He's alive for some reason.
And he specifically has a red shirt. Oh, that guy died though.
Okay.
I'm gonna put one question mark, but I'm pretty sure that guy just died. Actually, no, fuck the
Died.
question mark. That guy died.
So Peter Jackson has this approach to action sequences that like gradually builds and builds throughout the Lord of the Rings, and then it's at like its apex here, where he likes treating characters like action figures, where he's just tossing them around and throwing them all over the place, and they're fine. They don't have a
Yeah.
scratch on them.
I think that works for.
Like that.
I think that works for
Well, and
this
there's
movie.
specifically things that happen in The Hobbit that start here.
Yes.
Well, and I think it works here for this kind of fantasy adventure epic that he's going for.
Sure. I'm not even complaining about it. It's just
I-
an observation.
But I do think maybe he should have.
It's the thing he likes to do.
I think he should have maybe by the end of the movie had them look a little more banged up because like they get a little banged up and a little dirty, but like there's no like cuts or scratches or.
That guy's dead. Awesome.
No.
That guy's super dead.
Yep. I love that guy's just like, fuck, man, take the tripod, leave me.
Save the film.
And then by the
They
Hobbit,
kill
it
the clone of
becomes.
that British guy that's in everything, but you don't know his name.
And then by the Hobbit, it just becomes like absurd. Like I don't believe anybody can die in that movie.
The scene where Legolas is running on a crumbling structure.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
kind of
good
had
scene.
that though. The like cliff was
Yeah.
crumbling, and the guy was running.
True.
Not to
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
degree, but there's a couple things like there's a thing with a bat later on that Legolas also does, but like way more intense in The Hobbit.
Well, and there's so many shots of the hobbits just like rolling around and getting thrown all over the place, and they're fine.
Yep.
Yeah. We like
Or
he
sorry, of
likes
the
to
dwarves,
do the landing on like the snout of Smaug or the V-Rex.
Yes. Okay, I think. Okay, Lumpy says 4 of us are dead. He's referring to this sequence specifically, not the rest of the film.
Well, 5 people died in that sequence, so he's still wrong.
Fair enough, take your word for it.
Well, one of them was that guy that I was like, that guy definitely died. Because it's like he was on it and it rolled over him.
Slasher Fred says that Peter Jackson used to be a horror director. He had done a lot of movies that became very cult movies. That's true. I'm a big Dead Alive fan. And
Dead
I
Alive,
recently watched the Frighteners last month on Austin's recommendation. That movie's great.
Oh yeah, Frighteners is pretty cool. His first movie, Brain Dead, is interesting too. That's kind of like a fun little.
When
Alien
Frighteners is how he gets in talks to do this. Because that's with Universal, and they're like, this movie's great. Either remake Creature from the Black Lagoon or King Kong.
Wait, no, Brain Dead's not his first movie. That's the zombie movie. You're thinking of. I think you're thinking of Bad Taste,
Bad Taste.
which I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen. Maybe I have. Did we watch that?
I think we watched that together once. But
Because I know it has like a very misleading poster.
what? Just the alien guy like flipping the camera
Yeah.
up, or...
Yeah, isn't he like barely in that?
No, he is.
Okay. I really
Yeah.
don't remember that movie.
It's a pretty cool like early director
Yeah.
movie.
I love how like we lose Kyle Chandler and like 2 red shirts follow him.
They're like,
Those
fuck
smart
it. You
ones.
see all those other red shirts that died?
I do appreciate that he's
So-
the one that's just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
He's like, I don't even know what Will is.
Oh.
I understood that reference. So I love Fay Ray in the original King Kong. She's great. That is definitely one of like the classic examples of like the prototypical damsel in distress character, and everything about how they expand on Anne in this movie I think is great, giving her a lot more to do and making her more proactive. And like here, I love additions like this where she's pretending to be dead and is like trying to sneak away. Because in the original movie, she just kind of screams the whole time, and that's it.
But yeah, and then she's gonna use her
Yes.
her theater powers.
Yes.
Theater powers.
Well, and King
She's
Kong's
not
also
wrong.
like he's the only one of the big major kaiju that's allowed to just eat all the time.
He's hungry.
It's true, yeah. Toho specifically has it in their contract that Godzilla's never allowed to be shown eating.
That's true.
You know, I've
thought
never
it says
thought
you
about.
can't show him eat people, but
Well, it's
I
like
could be
that, and you also can't eat other monsters. Like the closest you
Oh,
get
okay.
is that King Ghidorah bit in King of the Monsters. But it's just they don't want him eating.
So like, but could like King Kong order pizza and eats a piece of it, or
No, King Kong has to eat the whole pizza.
I hope Supernova does the Godzilla versus Gigan and they just talk. Just talk now.
I hope he has the same voice he had in that movie, where he's
Oh,
like,
no.
"Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, everything about how we expand on this dynamic, I think is just perfect, and how they interact with each other.
This might be one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
Yeah, it's one of the best scenes, absolutely.
What happened?
She's like,
to
"What the
woman?
fuck?"
What'd she do?
He's like, whoa, whoa.
Ah.
And then he just crushes her, and is just waiting for her to get up again. Like, oh.
I kept thinking that today when he starts like nudging her, where he just like flicks her off the cliff. And he's just laughing his ass off.
Yeah, this is how I can relate to King Kong, because people fall down is funny.
It is funny, yeah. I love that he
You fall
hates
down and go
everything
boom.
that she does except for falling.
Yes.
Everything else, he's like, "Ah, this sucks. Fall over again."
And in the wrong hands, this could so easily be so corny and stupid, but it
Yeah.
works.
If this were in the '70s film, it would have been really stupid.
Well, it'd be
But
really
here,
horny.
it'd be really stupid and horny because he'd be stupid and then he'd take her blouse off.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the 70s take on their relationship, like, really amps up the sexual factor, and it's very uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
There's a quote-unquote erotic scene where he, like, puts the girl in a waterfall and then, like, blows air at her to dry her off, and it's done,
Yeah,
like,
we get
poorly.
we get like really like close up shots of him being like, it's like,
Oh
oh.
no.
And then there's also a part where he like uses his finger and he pulls her shirt down too, and he's like, "I like this."
No.
Well, every time he
Yeah,
stands
okay.
up, she stands up. He's like, "No."
Fall down some more.
So now I know why people don't like the '70s movie.
Robert's camera looks like it's frozen. It's
It did froze, yeah.
It did. It did froze.
It did froze.
It done froze.
It done froze.
No, giant monsters laughing is always funny. Like when we do that in early Godzilla films, and here it's always funny.
When you
Then they
monster.
fall down.
I will be right back.
No.
Okay.
Okay, that's one of the best parts of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster when Mothra webs Godzilla and Rodan laughs at him, and then Mothra webs Rodan and Godzilla just laughs his ass off.
I think I still need to see that.
Oh, it's great.
I've seen a few of the early Toho Godzillas, but I don't remember where I left off.
Yeah, and that's the 5th one. Yeah.
Well, if you've seen Raids Again, whatever.
He's coming back though. He's run into some
If you've seen
technical
Raids
issues.
Again, you've seen enough. That's the best one.
I
Yeah.
remember. I don't remember the names.
Yeah, this
Raids
is the
Again
most sympathetic Kong gets, where it's like he threw a thing, it came back down, it hit him, and he's just like, "Fuck."
I'm sorry.
Ah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He just walks away.
He's gone
Okay,
from the
goodbye.
film. It's no longer King Kong.
This is his exit.
He
Yeah.
leaves, he doesn't come back.
Imagine if it just cut to credits right here.
That'd be
Da,
beautiful.
da, 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 da.
Oh yeah, I guess this is that water scene that's added for this cut.
Okay. Yeah, so this will
You
be
do
my
the
first
okay.
time watching that.
Yeah, and this one specifically, I'm pretty sure it's on the deleted scenes because I remember seeing this scene before, and I've never seen this cut. This is like in Jurassic Park, um, the river scene that they cut.
Oh yeah.
Well, that thing's a nightmare.
What do you mean? That looks like a puppy.
Oh,
It's cute.
does Canada have weird?
Uh,
Yeah.
Know about with?
Tyler says that Noah's camera is messing up. Yeah, it'll.
Exactly.
Canadian duck.
That's a Canadian Shepherd.
Yeah, the cameras
What?
will be. Tyler says Noah's camera's messing up. Yeah, it's gonna look different off until Robert comes back.
Oh,
Oh yeah, because the orders. Yeah.
Robert died in the war. He's not coming back.
Oh no!
it's true.
Seems like we're generally having some Discord issues tonight.
Damn Discord.
Discord's always giving us problems.
Let's switch to Skype.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think that exists anymore.
Oh no,
I think Skype is dead.
it's dead, and you killed it.
Austin single-handedly
You
killed Skype. Oh, and then this must be the big water raft scene.
Yeah.
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 Okay, well, I don't think anybody died there.
Unless some people just drowned off screen.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
write
can't
6 people
swim.
drowned off screen.
Oh, here's some people floating.
He's back.
I'm back.
It's Robert.
Robert is back.
Robert.
When
Yeah.
somebody was at the bottom of the river, but I'm not sure if they died or if they got back out.
At least 2 people die in this sequence, I remember.
Okay.
Or maybe 3.
But so far, nobody's died.
Adrian Brody's about to die.
This does look like the. Oh my god, those bubbles! No.
The
Oof.
CGI weapons here. It reminds you of that scene in the third
In
Lord of the Rings, the flashback with Smeagol when he's underwater. It looks a lot like that.
Oh, I was thinking when Frodo falls into the swamp.
The
But
second one, yeah.
yeah.
No, this is like
And
just a
Peter
weird
Jackson's not great
CGI
at doing
version.
underwater scenes. Okay, so we're at one guy's death so far.
So you don't want Peter Jackson's Aquaman?
I mean, it'd be
No.
better than James Wan's Aquaman, even if it looked like this.
Oh,
Aqua Kong?
That sounds like a brand.
Aqua Kong.
Aquaman.
I got me an Aqua
Troy, okay, this is weird because I've forgotten this, that, oh yeah, it feels pretty late in the movie where they're like, oh yeah, Lumpy and Choi, Andy Serkis and the Chinese
there's
guy,
another
like,
one.
the duo. I feel like we should have had more screen time with those two in the first half.
When Choi gets like a sad death, but when it happens, I'm just like, oh no, they killed half of that original character.
Another scene that has a deleted scene that isn't in either cut. We'll get to it.
Don't shoot the
Oh.
boat, Jack Black. What are you doing?
So we're, what, 2 deaths in this scene?
We're at 2 so far.
Save the camera.
Save the
Black
dream.
Save the
The dream of filmmaking.
Mirror.
Exactly.
I love that Denim as a character. It's like, no, he'll man up when his movie's in danger. That is when he'll fire a machine gun and be a badass.
He doesn't
I
give a
don't
shit
care
about
about that woman, but my movie.
Yep.
That's what
That
matters.
movie's a masterpiece.
He turns
early-
southern.
Okay, so we only lost 2 in that scene.
Does the camera still work?
I will throw out though,
it's
Robert.
nice.
We're at 10 confirmed deaths. Okay,
Uh,
there's a third one. We're at 11 confirmed deaths with an extra possible 2. So we're possibly already at 13 deaths.
I like
And there's
how
gonna
we're
be a
trying to
shit
take
ton
out
in the
what we already
valley.
Messed up.
Mhm.
we did that.
That was such an evil face too. Oh, don't drink moss juice.
Don't
is
drink from the
gross.
moss juice.
That also sounded like
What
Soldier
about
was there.
second moss juice?
We've had one, yes.
What about second moss juice?
So I totally understand why that sequence was cut, just because like nothing of no, like no main character dies during it. But I think it's fun. I'm
That's a
glad it
bit
was
more
put back in.
tension.
Well, that is like arguably the equivalent of the like pit scene in the original, where part of like one of the reasons that has been noted for why it was cut was the movie kind of screeches to a halt and it doesn't really add anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
well, yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I think it's fine that it's in here.
Yeah.
Like, that was a fun sequence.
and I'll be the first to admit, in this section of the film, it really is. It's pretty repetitious. It's just like one set piece immediately after the next with these guys, but I think it's fine.
What the fuck?
What?
What the
This seems a little distracting because it's our only practical creature in the whole movie.
This is definitely not in the theatrical.
Yeah, that
Oh, you just killed him.
that threw me
know.
off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's really
a good
weird.
practical effect.
I
It's
just I
just
wasn't
strange when
prepared
all the
for
other
a
creatures are CGI.
I wasn't prepared for a dinosaur ostrich.
A dinostrich.
A ostrich.
Yeah. This scene is so Gandalf and Moria coded.
Yes, it's awesome.
Where's the Balrog?
The bird.
Jimmy, you throw a buck in the fucking well.
Fool of a
Fool of a Jimmy.
Come over here, it's clobbering time.
I have a joke in my head that I'm very mixed on telling, but
Do
no.
it,
have to.
do it,
See,
do
Yeah,
it.
See, you
yeah,
can't
Do
say
it,
you
do
can't
it.
say that.
watch the movie. Watch the movie. It's Hayden's first time watching.
Say the joke. Say
don't
the
care.
line, Bart.
Robert, you should know by now you can't say that around Austin.
No, but I like this is a blind watch for Hayden. I want him to try not to get ahead of the movie.
I know the plot.
Well,
Just say it.
say it after the thing happens. Then
Okay, that's fair.
I'm eagerly awaiting this.
Monkey.
You shall not pass. Oh fuck.
Wait, was that just it?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Oh my god, yeah. I was gonna freak
There's
out.
this
That was
really
a very
off-color joke I'm about to make.
You shall not pass. Oh fuck.
Oh fuck. I'm a servant of the secret fire, wielder of this pistol.
I need that edit now.
Right? That'd be great. Dark Final. Ah, fuck!
Oh, I like
I'm not
Hayes.
some. He's like, I'm not some conjurer of cheap tricks. Fucking pistol.
So in the sequel, he'll come back and say, I left you as Hayes the Black. Now I'm Hayes the White.
Well,
Instantly, I knew where you were going with that, and I was like, yes.
I love
Was
Hayes.
that it?
Okay. Yes.
he comes back and he's like Randy Couture or something.
For whatever reason, I thought you were gonna. For whatever reason, I thought you were gonna say Randy Quaid.
Even better.
Yeah, even better.
Hello, boys. I'm back.
I'm back.
Oh no, Choi's about to fall.
Not Joy.
Not one half of a character.
No, I remember as a kid finding that scene really sad, and then like I remembered them having more screen time together than they did. Where it's like, oh, I wasn't gonna build up to that.
What's because you love
Oh my God.
Lumpy, so you're like, oh,
I
Lumpy's
do love
sad.
Lumpy. He's great. And this is a scene. Okay, so
He's your
Choi
favorite
we-
dwarf.
Okay, but like, watch this scene. All these people are gonna fall like at least 50 feet, and they're fine.
Well,
Yeah,
this
you
is the Hobbit. They're falling down the thing,
Oh, yeah, when I think
and then they all get
they're in a,
crushed.
I think they're in a tree in that scene too. When they're in the
And then
goblin.
Bomber falls, and it's
think the
they're like,
bridge?
"Ow!"
I was
The
It
thinking
bridge.
might
of
be
the
a
barrels.
bridge, yeah. When they're in the goblin layer.
Well, and this guy is in Godzilla vs Kong.
This dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's my favorite
And-
actor.
Well, this is kind of an homage to the big iguana that comes out of the pit in the
Mhm.
original.
Hello,
Now,
What's up?
now they're
Hello,
Hello.
love.
clever girl.
Yeah, that movie was great. It was just weird when it just stopped and started quoting Jurassic Park and all these other movies. It was really weird.
It's like
There's
Peter
like
Jackson. Write your own
5
lines.
Jurassic Park quotes in this movie.
There were
Also,
like
you know
new
that's
talking
why-
dinosaurs for an hour, and then suddenly,
It's only clever girl.
oh god,
There's always a bigger fish.
there we go.
That makes me sad. That was a nice dinosaur. I'm sad he's dead.
It's Beauty that killed the crocodile iguana thing.
They
I
killed
don't like
Doug.
the centipede.
That's
Ew.
a dog.
Yeah, it was an Afghan hound.
No. An Afghan hound.
Yeah.
No.
Does an Afghan hound have 600 bloody legs?
Now there's still. Yeah, I'm sensing a pattern in this movie.
So
I
many
said it's
bugs.
if there's gonna be one thing, there's gonna be more.
John, I'm reminded of the Turbo movie when she's sitting and has the snake like come up on her shoulder, and then he tackles it over a cliff.
she's just having a really bad day.
Yeah, I would have
Take
died
it
like
on
7 times
down.
by now.
And
You already have fucking one meal. Do you really need an appetizer with it?
this sequence drove my dad crazy. Where he's like, "Why do they care so much about her?" And she's like that big compared to that.
You got this big ass dino in your mouth already.
He wants a snack to go with it.
She's the side.
Exactly. She's the French fry.
Also, dude, don't run with food in your mouth. You're gonna choke.
Exactly. We already lost half of his fucking meal because of doing that. Oh, this is where. Oh, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
No, nobody's satisfied eating one French fry though.
Yeah.
That's so nothing.
Naomi Watts a French fry?
Yeah, but you love the one French fry. It's tasty.
That feels like I don't know why that's
This
like,
is
it
this
feels
is
like
where
that,
you
it's
get
like-
the other one where he's like, dude, fuck. He's just like just waking up. I don't know what he's doing. He's like,
Oh,
oh
this one?
man. Yeah, he's just like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Oh, dude, man.
Oh fuck,
Yeah.
man, what's going on? What are you doing over here?
And this is the part where I have to say these dinosaurs look better than the dinosaurs in the Jurassic World movies.
I like
That's
that
just
he's got
like
like a
the
fucked
fact.
up tooth.
He
Oh,
does
yeah.
have a fucked up snaggle tooth.
Oh.
Dude, what's going on? What are you doing there?
Go to the dentist.
Nope.
Oh,
Hello.
He's like, all right, I guess I'll eat you.
This is my log.
that V-Rex is so high. It took him like a minute to be like, what's going on?
What's going on here, man?
This scene is so awesome.
Yeah, where he kicks it.
He's just a stoner T-Rex with the munchies.
Yeah, and this ape's just beating his ass for no
Yeah,
reason.
come on, Kong. He just wants a snack.
Kong's the cops who got called on the guy smoking weed.
You fucking narc.
It's the show Cops, but starring King Kong.
Kongs.
Kongs.
Back Kong, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do when he Kong for you?
Oh no.
When he
I'm
Kongs
sorry.
for you?
I don't want him to Kong.
I'm sorry, everybody.
It's okay.
Now my joke doesn't look that bad.
I don't know about that.
I already said I'm sorry.
King Kong, you dumbass! Don't you know that this is the version where everything is times 3?
Yeah, and that statue Peter Jackson had for the 90s version is really cool. It's just Kong fighting 3 giant T-Rexes. And
Yeah,
he's
it's a
like,
really
"I am
cool
putting
statue.
I'm putting that in my movie no matter what." I watched this scene a million times when I was a kid.
Sam.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. If this was a movie that I watched a lot as a kid, this would be a scene that I would constantly replay, probably.
The V-Rexes are just like a really cool design.
Oh yeah.
This woman should be dead though.
No.
No, she's Kong is
At
protecting
most,
her.
she's shaken. Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting real careful.
Well,
He's
I
getting real
love the way
careful.
I just love the way the sequence is choreographed. It's so imaginative, where he's like passing around with between his hands and then with his feet.
Yeah.
Like it's so cool.
What I love too, it's like here's the big we're expanding on this. It's gonna be crazy, and we're like jumping around and like falling, and he's like you said, he's throwing her around, and then when we land, it's basically just a shot-for-shot remake, or not shot-for-shot because it was one take, but like a beat-for-beat recreation of the original sequence where he
Yes.
fights the V-Rex.
Yeah, and it was Peter Jackson or somebody else who the original version compared to, like, it's like watching a sumo wrestling match. It's just one lockdown shot basically, and just these two big dudes just lumbering around. And then this, they were like, "Oh, I think they compared it to like a kung fu movie or something. It's just so much more elaborately choreographed." And,
I just love that even
the
like
top.
tied up in those vines, it's like, I'm gonna eat you.
no,
I
I'm
get
gonna
you.
eat you.
I
You
like
say so.
flying. They got lizard brains.
it's true.
They see food, they go numb.
Exactly.
It's
Like
all they know.
King Shark, he's like num num.
Nom nom.
But we're even gonna recreate King Kong playing with its jaw afterwards. It's great.
Also, the scene in Dead Man's Chest reminded me of this in the vines.
Oh, yeah.
when they're in the
Yep.
cages.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, that and when
great.
like Jack's fallen.
Yes.
Maybe I'll get to that this week.
Ooh.
We're gonna watch
Yeah.
it right after.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
this
have to
will
watch it
eventually
now.
lead to the dwarves standing on Smaug's snout.
Those movies have some pretty bad green screen.
We're actually
Yes.
gonna watch all four.
Actually, maybe worse than this.
We're watching
Oh,
the Hobbit
100%.
trilogy right after this.
Of
Oh.
course. Well, I wanted to mention that too, with like just the bloat and Jackson getting a lot of flack for that. And The Hobbit's like the apex of this, where it's this tiny book stretched into 3 movies. I want to throw him a bone and say that's not entirely his doing. That is the studio pushing
That
him.
was
Like,
yeah.
let's make 3 movies. We'll make more
I-
money.
I think if
It
Peter
is-
Jackson making a Hobbit movie that's one movie would be amazing.
Well, he
Yeah.
wanted to do 2, which I think makes sense because that book, it's really short, but it's very just like we
Dense.
go and we have like different little adventures like every chapter, and it's like I get wanting to include all of it, so I get doing it as 2.
I
And the
love
studio
that.
Who
was
was
like-
making it? It was going to be 2.
It's gonna be 2, yeah. And then the studio was like, "Nah, do it as 3." But I mean, I don't see The Hobbit like in any way Peter Jackson's fault because he also has to take that on at the last second and was given no time to make it.
And he
I
got
love
so
that
burnt
shot
out over
from-
it, he hasn't made a
Yeah.
movie since.
He didn't get to do like all the pre-production he did for
This
the
is so
original
cool.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, where he bites the tongue out, it's so good.
I love that shot that's like from the cave and it's just them facing off. We've got Draven in the chat. What do you guys think of Kong's look in this movie? Do you like him just being this giant silverback, or do you prefer he looks in the monster? We talked about this a little bit. I like this design the best, but I think they fit what each movie is going for. Monsterverse Kong would look weird here, and I think this Kong wouldn't work in the Monsterverse. Yeah, close.
That's right out of the original. It's great, and that's so. And that was such a great shot with Anne when she's like looking back and forth between them, and it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna go with this guy because he's gonna protect me.
I
It was
also
the-
love that
the
Kong's
nice
just
shot.
like, "Fuck, that sucked. I'm mad at you. I'm gonna like, are you?
I love this. Yeah,
Look at this shit you just put me through, man."
Talk about the cold shoulder.
Exactly. Exactly.
I spit on you, man.
I spit on you. I don't like this red thing.
I'm freaking pissed off and shit, man.
You grim and you gnarly.
Yeah, that's what the V-Rex's names were. Is Grim, Gnarly, and other one.
No, I really like how they have a specific characterization for Kong, and at times he's just kind of like an overgrown child.
Yes.
You're like, okay, you can come.
And then Anne gets decapitated on a branch.
Yeah.
And now we're at the famous spider pit sequence.
Which
She
Peter
loves
Jackson
you.
made plot important so they couldn't cut.
I will say that I think this is for me the most disturbing sequence in this movie.
There is some great stuff here. One part in particular that's very disturbing. There's also some weird choices, but we'll get to it.
I also, when I was watching this earlier, Robert, I was like, oh, this is where they got every enemy for the game. It's all just from this scene.
Yes. So there's a longer bit here that's not in either version, where when Lumpy finds Choi's dead body and is crying and is real sad about it. Originally, Choi had like final words here, so it's in that version. It's not like he just fell from 2,000 feet. He was still alive to talk for a few seconds.
Why won't you die?
But here it looks like he just died instantly, as you would.
As you would, yeah. As Gandalf.
No, I love Ace. He's great. I
I'll
want
be
to
right
see
back.
that actor in more things. Oh, okay. Well, we lost Hayden.
There he goes. And I like that this doesn't feel like a tonal shift. It's moving to one end of the side of the multiple tones that this movie employs. I think really rather well.
No, I mean the scariest stuff has already happened. It's the natives.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, see, I think the scariest thing in this movie is what happens to Andy Serkis' character. That's horrifying to me.
It's horrifying. Yeah.
See, I don't think it looks great. So like it kind of takes me out.
That's fair.
Like it on paper it's really scary, but like
No, when I was a kid, this was disturbing for
Yeah.
me. These things are horrible.
No, these things are like my worst
I
nightmare.
don't like it.
And I love this is a section where I think the lack of music really helps.
Yeah. The part where the scene starts to lose me is when Jack gets covered in
and
these
Jimmy's
things.
shooting the bug somehow, and it like
it's ridiculous.
it's insane. Jack would be so fucked in that situation, especially the way he's shooting. He's like, "Ugh."
No, after the bugs fall off, he should look down and just be riddled with bullets and then die. That's how.
But I mean,
yeah.
this movie is consistent with that logic. I don't know why it's bothered here more than anywhere else.
No, it goes way
It goes too
farther in
far.
that. It goes way too far in that bit. I don't
For
agree
me,
with that
it's
at
more-
all.
For me,
They
it's
just
more
survived
distracting
falling
because-
like 100 feet.
Yeah, and they also, I think that's a little different because it's like
Yeah.
we have them fall and then it stops, and then they
Yeah.
fall and hit. They're not falling the whole time and then they hit and they're
Yeah.
fine. He's got bugs on him and he's like, oh, and he's getting shot directly on by a guy who doesn't know how to use a gun, and
See,
it goes
Austin-
too far.
Austin, I have to disagree. I think this looks really good, and this still,
Ugh, I don't like it.
I don't at all. It looks like like none of that looks like it's real.
I think it's fine. No, okay, but back to John's question. It's more distracting for me here because this is meant to be more of a visceral, scary sequence, and then this is like too goofy.
It
for
also
me.
goes on
takes me
too
out of it.
long.
Yes.
yeah, I don't know.
Just do anything else. Give him a knife and have him just stabbing.
Have him cut
Like,
it off.
do
Yeah.
anything. Noah, what are your thoughts on this bit? Contribute. There's a red shirt.
It
We
doesn't
got
look
two red
real.
shirt deaths.
2 red shirt deaths here? Oh yes, you're right. So
Yeah,
we're
the
at
guy
3
with the
deaths.
claw,
in this
the
scene.
claw comes out of the
Yeah,
wall.
well, it comes out of the wall. Yeah, no, you're right. So I was slacking. I got them. We got 3 deaths.
This is really creepy, though.
Oh yeah, no. When it's like on his face and he's holding back, that's
Oh my god.
gross. But I think that's too goofy for the sequence.
I'm surprised that he didn't get hit once.
That's
by
that's
that
our
Tommy gun.
point. That's our point, Noah.
Oh.
Especially because when we cut to him shooting, he's like, "Ugh! Ugh!" But it's supposed to be his aim was so dead on. No, it goes a little too far.
So I think we've got to. I'm not the one keeping count, but we've got to be over 17 at this point.
Not yet, but we're close.
Well, but if we were at 13 before, at least 4 people died there.
Well, our count might be off because I think I'm at 12.
I thought Austin said 13.
Yeah, hold
Well,
on.
I accidentally hit a button. Somebody give me a timestamp.
Oh wait, yeah, I think we're at least at 13.
The-
12. We're at 15, possibly 17.
Hayden, you missed Andy Serkis getting.
Can
hit
somebody
by
give him a
it's
timestamp
really
that-
disturbing.
That's
Oh,
I saw that.
I'm
2
at
hours.
20
Go ahead.
I'm at 207.56, so about 208 is where I'm at.
Okay.
Also, I think Noah froze.
Ooh.
Unless
Oh,
Oh, no,
he's-
did I freeze?
No, you're good. You're good.
Am I good?
Okay.
Okay.
So Discord's just fucked up on my end.
It's fucked up on my end too. I think it's just weird tonight.
Just fucking up.
Yeah.
So, Hayden, are you good?
I will be in a second. I had to mess with something, but
Okay, I'm at 208.35. If that's about where everyone else is at.
okay.
So Hayden, what you missed is Andy Serkis got eaten by giant worms. The actor guy came back and saved everybody.
No, I
And-
saw it all. I just had to mess with a couple settings. That's why I left.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and
Ooh.
Denon's really sad about his camera getting
Ooh.
smashed.
Yeah, his camera done got broke.
It's the biggest tragedy out of all of that.
It
honestly.
is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, he did nothing wrong.
Oh.
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, okay. So earlier you guys said that Denim gets a lot of people killed in this movie, which is true. However, you gotta admit that this expedition they go on to save Anne also gets a lot of people killed.
Yeah, but they're only there in the first place because of him.
Because of
That's
him.
true. That is true.
Yeah.
No, all the deaths are on Denim.
Yeah. I do appreciate though that he is just unrepentant. Like even in the New York stuff.
I'm at like 210 even if that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yep, we're good.
Like it is insane how good the CGI looks in the sun in this like
Yes.
I don't want to say broad
No, it
daylight,
looks really
but
Yeah, Kong still looks amazing in this movie.
Monkey contemplates life.
Wife
The inner
gone.
machinations of
Bad
my
wife.
Magdalene Enigma.
How's
The
it going,
silence.
champ? You had a long
Are you
day.
winning, son?
Like a year. Oh no.
Go to the bathroom. You're shitting yourself. No.
No. The silence is nice.
Don't juggle. I'm mad at you.
I don't even like your juggling when I was happy with you.
I was just
Almost-
laughing to make you happy.
I just laugh when you fall over.
Those rocks look CGI anyway. I can tell. I can tell.
Because I am one. Takes one to know one.
Yeah.
You bore me.
Flick.
Two dolls.
Woman, leave me alone. I'm trying to think.
Cut to the group. Oh man, I wonder how far away Anne is.
He's fucking dead.
Oh.
It was Beast that killed the beauty.
It wasn't the planes that killed her, it was the beast.
And
Yeah,
then
no
the-
shit,
and then
what
the
do you
plane falls
mean?
on a course.
So earlier you were talking about Driscoll being in the plane in one of the in the game. For whatever reason, I like mixed them up in my head, and I thought you meant Darrow. Like that'd be awesome.
Anne jumps off the tower, lands on one of the planes, kicks the pilot out, hijacks
Yeah.
it.
That's the modern Disney version. We make her a pilot.
And then he
Roundhouse
Yeah.
kick.
and then
some
she
monsters.
Godzilla -1s it, where she flies into his mouth.
Yeah. The Disney version, Robert, is that, but then she also has like a little son of Kong that she hangs out with. It's the like animal sidekick.
I was gonna joke earlier that do you guys think they're gonna make Son of Kong in the MonsterVerse with the one?
kinda
I mean,
Did.
they've kind of already set it up.
if they do, I hope that entire movie is just him using that kid as a weapon like he did in the last one.
That's the best scene of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Mandalorian and Grogu or whatever Austin called him.
No, that guy's Son of Kong in that world. I'm more interested if they do Son of Godzilla, since they did Son of Kong.
Oh my god, I want it. I want it so bad. I want it to look like that. I want it. Out of the
Earlier,
bowl.
earlier in the live chat, Slasher Fred mentioned Mighty Joe Young, which is like a more fan-friendly version. I saw the '90s one when I was a kid, and I loved it.
Same.
It's very corny and probably doesn't hold up great, but the effects in that movie are incredible. If anyone hasn't seen it, Rick Baker did the practical effects in that, like genuinely very impressive. Because the big gorilla in that movie is mostly just a big animatronic, and it looks incredible.
Didn't somebody
Better than the
see?
'70s animatronic that's in one scene.
Oh, by quite a bit. It's also a lot smaller than that, to be fair.
Yeah, no, of course, of course.
Didn't somebody?
I've seen like footage of it, but I've never seen either Mighty Joe Young.
I need to see the
Kong-
original because that was also by Cooper, who made the original King Kong. He made Mighty Joe Young in the 40s.
Yeah.
I need to see that.
I've only seen the '90s one, but I remember being obsessed with it as a kid.
I loved
Didn't a
it.
pretty prominent effects guy do the '70s Kong movie too, though?
Yeah, it's
Was that also Baker or was that somebody else?
it might have been. Let me see.
We're gonna watch that one after this.
Yeah.
No.
Because whoever did it was really disappointed because they wanted
Yeah,
it like that to be. They wanted it to mostly be animatronics and puppets and stuff, and it ends up just being a guy in a suit for like 99% of the movie, which
It
is
is
not what they
Baker.
wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, so he redeemed himself on Mighty Joe Young, and also what's really unfortunate about that '70s version is there's a meta joke somewhere in the movie where they're like in awe of King Kong, and there's like a quip somebody makes of like, "What did you expect? A big guy in a suit?" And it's like, yeah, it's just a guy in a suit in this movie. But that line was written before they shot the Kong stuff in that movie, and it's like, oh
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, it's a guy in a suit, and you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell.
Oh,
Apparently, Rick Baker is the person in the King Kong suit too.
Oh, he was a
Oh,
champ.
weird.
I don't think the effects in that movie are like horrible. Like, and like there is a lot of articulation and like the mask and stuff. And like it looks fine for the time. It's just not what I wanted.
I just find it funny that Godzilla is a guy in a suit because they were like, "Oh, we do not have the money to do full King Kong and do stop motion," and then you get
Yeah.
to the '70s remake it where he's a guy in a suit.
But I think like, see, I prefer the man in the suit approach because I think it holds up better if you do it right.
I think it's just case by case.
I
Like,
like both. Yeah.
It just depends on how you do either. Like, there's, uh, I've seen like suitmation stuff that doesn't look very good, but then, like the stop motion in the original King Kong's really good.
I forgot about this too because I assumed that's supposed
Oh,
to
yeah.
be another Kong.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was
The
one
last
when
one.
King Kong walks in here that's like that was sitting against the wall.
Just chilling.
Yeah,
Feeling like a villain.
That is something I feel like we do more now. Now I don't remember. I say that not remembering the original that well, but because like this one kind of implicates that maybe he's the last of his kind, and then of course that's going to be a big thing in the monster verse.
Well, and that is 100% the case in the original film, and then we rush out the sequel, Son of Kong, where that's a big retcon. That suddenly there's this child running around the island that we never saw before.
that's like the '70s one where it's like, oh, by the way, there was also a female Kong.
That's true. As seen in King Kong Lives.
No, because that is one of the unfortunate things about doing a sequel. Is that's really if you go with the
Yeah.
you either retcon the ending or just go there's another one.
When in King Kong
a
Lives,
Kong
they
two.
give King Kong a heart transplant, and then he comes back to life, and then they kill him again at the end.
Oh no.
True.
Austin, that's what we're gonna watch after this.
No.
It's the sequel to this, though.
No. Yeah.
And
How am I gonna know what happens next if we don't watch the sequel?
Well, you guys are watching it. I'm not.
No, but you have
I-
to be there to explain it to
I
me.
do really like this where they're able.
to explain the movie. This is the scene where they give Hulk, where they give King Kong a heart transplant.
I do
Yeah.
really like the way they flesh out Anne and Kong's dynamic in this, but never lose sight of like she's ready to go home. Like she doesn't want to stay here.
she is, but like she does hesitate. Where it's like, oh, I mean, I okay, yeah. It's like just the more you think about it, it's like you can see the gears turning in her head of, yeah, I should probably go. Let's.
Have you
get outta here.
eaten yet? Since you've been on this
No.
island?
It's only been a day. It's fine.
Who's
That's
this
still a
man,
long
huh?
time.
Get out of here, man. He's pissed.
I love that, like, from this point on, there was just, like, another movie going on from Kong's perspective, where Jack Driscoll is just, like, the ultimate villain.
Yes, 100%.
Get
Yeah.
out of here.
You're stealing my wife.
That's my wife, you bastard.
That's my wife, you son of a bitch.
You can't have my wife.
Get the fuck off me, bats!
Bats. I hate bats.
This is foreshadowing. This is gonna be why he hates the
planes.
airplanes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bats frighten him, so it's time for his enemies to share his dread.
Speaking
I'm
of which,
Kong.
The fear of flying things. Speaking of which, what?
I wanted to mention that James Newton Howard does the music for this, and he also does some of the music for Batman Begins
Oh.
and Dark Knight. He
Right.
collaborates with Hans Zimmer on those, and then I think said like he felt like a third wheel and dipped by the third one. But I wanted to mention that because there are some music cues in this where I'm like, oh yeah, this is very Batman Begins, and I hadn't remembered some of the similarities, and also one of the trailers for this movie used some Batman Begins music. I don't know if you remember that, Austin.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't
some
offhand,
of
no.
the chase music, or like when they're out to blow up the manor, when they're setting the manor on fire, like that music. I
Yeah.
think is what they used for the King Kong trailer. And I was like,
You-
oh, wait a minute.
Interesting.
You
This
play,
is the
Funny that they
Legolas
use-
thing. We're just gonna fly away on this bat.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You play this section as Jack in the game, except you have to like jump off a really tall cliff and land in water. And as somebody that's scared of heights, doing that in first person freaked me the fuck out.
It also plays differently in this cut, where you're like, don't go in the water. There's a giant monster in there. Get out of there, guys.
Yeah.
Adrian Brody stole my wife.
But
The
this
TMZ
might be
article.
like the ultimate you're a dick moment for Jack Black's character, where he's just gonna make them wait there until Kong gets closer.
Yes. I love these POV shots of him running through the jungle.
If they remake this again, they should make it from Kong's perspective, where just like this woman shows up on his side of the island.
The movie starts with him just
Scratching his ass and waiting.
goes
Yeah.
out of his cave, smokes a cigarette.
He smokes half of it and he can't finish it, so he like puts it out and puts it in his pocket for later to smoke the rest of it.
Pees off the side of the cliff, and then Anne shows up freaking out. He's like, "What the fuck?"
There's a guy with like a machete there, and from the back, I was like, "Oh, it's Jimmy." And then we get the other shot. I'm like, "Oh no, it's another red shirt."
How many
Jimmy's
red
wearing
shirts
his
were on
mask.
that boat?
Okay, what's our death count at, Austin?
On.
Because I'm at 13, but you have more than I do.
Gotta be like 13 or 14.
I'm at 15, and then from the Triceratops scene, it's a possible 2 as well. which would put us up to 17. But 15 conformed.
Confined.
Poor Colin Hanks.
Yeah. So this is one of my gripes with the movie, with some of the side characters. This is what I was talking about earlier. There's a lot of character development and attention to some of them in the first half that doesn't really go anywhere, and I really feel that with Colin Hanks, where he's Denham's assistant guy. He's with him the whole movie, and I don't feel like there's a strong enough payoff for him in either direction. And then he's just going to kind of disappear at a certain point.
Well, his payoff is when he comes in the theater and he's the one that's like, was it worth it in the end? His payoff. That's fair.
It's just a little conversation.
I really like that scene.
It's a good scene.
That's fair. That's fair.
I just feel like for me, I would have liked to have gone stronger in either direction of either him just giving in and becoming a complete sellout, falling in Denham's footsteps, or turning his back on him completely. And we don't really get either. So that's my gripe with it.
I feel like he is turning his back on Denham, no?
Kind of. He wouldn't be asking that if he had. I don't think you get that scene if he had turned his back on him.
But he's there though. He shows up but
he like comes in the same way that Driscoll does. I don't know. It's like, was he actually there or like?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Like that.
Yeah, but that's fair. But like this is a sequence. Oh my, those guys are so dead. Oh my god.
There's there was like 8 people that. I mean, some of them just got thrown away. Okay.
These guys are so dead.
I think there's 17 people that died. Oh my god.
Okay, so when he says 17 people, when he says 17 people died, I think he was just talking about the people Kong killed. That's the only way that makes sense.
No, I think it's just Denham's an asshole.
Yeah. No, I'm not even saying it's a plot hole. That totally tracks for his character.
Yeah. No, I'm not either. It's funny. It's 'cause I had the same thought, and I'm glad that we were counting. There's 17 people that died just there alone.
Yeah.
There's 2 more.
Yep.
I don't even know what number to put down for that first part.
He's gonna kill at least one more guy here.
Yeah, he does. But I think the point stands is we're way past 17 at this point.
Don't say that. Why say that?
Because we have eyes.
Yeah, and Jimmy and Hayes are another side of this movie where I really like those characters. And then Jimmy, I also don't think really goes anywhere. Like, because he's just going to disappear from the movie after this. Like,
well, because Jimmy's thing is just like the being brave or whatever. I don't think there's anything for him to do after this. Like after you leave the island, anyways. So like I think they do well enough with him.
I think they do everything you need to with him.
I'm glad they didn't shoehorn him into the New York sequence. It would have been rough if we had to find something for everyone to do when we got there.
Well, Austin, they turned the camera, and he's one of the guys flying the planes.
That'd be
probably.
Amazing. But I feel like there's not enough change for like what has changed but aside from being sad and angry that Hayes is dead. It's like, it's not like the character wasn't brave in the first half. You know, he goes with them he wants to go with them to save Anne. Like, does he change a whole lot?
I think there's a difference.
He was dumb, and now he's a survivor, I guess. I don't know.
I think I would call what he's doing in the first half or in the first bit maybe more reckless. But I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather them be fleshed out so that I care when something happens or may happen than just, well, we cut their development for time, so it doesn't really matter what happened to them.
Do you just like acid attack them?
I know. What a dick.
You bastard.
What the hell, man?
He's got glass in his eyes.
He's freaking out.
Even Kong's like, hey, that was too far. Don't do that.
That was mean.
That was kind of mean.
I want to see the alternate ending where Kong doesn't die, and Anne and Driscoll just keep Kong in like their backyard or something.
Yes.
He's got a little,
No, and-
he's got a big collar around his neck. He's just chained up to a.
Yeah,
tree.
and
They're like, should we bring him back? And King Kong finally speaks, and he goes, "I wish to stay with the girl."
But this is a sequence we both really expand on from the original, and also give a very different tone to. Where in the original, Kong literally goes apeshit, and it isn't just attacking them; he's also killing the natives for no reason. But here we make it like this really sad moment where we.
No, the natives just disappeared.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that earlier. We forgot it. So when they show up to get Anne, like we see them firing their guns at them, and then they're just gone for the rest of the movie. And it's really, and I've always wondered, because like at this point in the original, the natives are still around, and in this version they're just gone. So like, is the implication that they killed all of them, and then we're like, maybe we shouldn't show our heroes like massacring an entire native civil? Maybe we'll just put that in the background.
I just think they became unimportant for what Jackson wanted to do. So
I think he.
I don't know.
I think he's way more interested in the creatures.
Jackson reminds me a lot, like we talked about this earlier, but he has that kind of same mentality as Raimi, where if Raimi's not interested in it, then it doesn't matter for the movie. Jackson probably was interested in the natives just enough to service getting them to the story, but once they're unimportant, it doesn't matter. Just they're gone somewhere.
Then he becomes more concerned with, I want to do the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's just something that stood out to me even as a kid, where I was like, oh, the natives just like disappear.
They went back to
the come to the wall and been like, what the fuck? These were the people that were behind this wall? Dude, these people are scary.
I also have a lot of questions about how they got Kong back, because we skip over.
It's just like 8 people that didn't die.
My question is, did they do any
it's like they say that a couple months have passed, so it's like you also like, do they have to keep chloroforming him on the boat?
Yes, because
Did
so
they
Austin.
rehearse the show with the monkey.
All I'm thinking of now is the Godzilla versus King Kong, like the original, where he wakes up on the raft and like starts freaking out, so they have to blow it up.
Oh, he's just like floating in the balloons.
Well, that's later, but remember they're bringing him on a raft.
No, I know, but I'm saying it would be funnier if they were just bringing him back on balloons.
So my question with this whole thing is, did they like rehearse? Did they practice anything? Because this doesn't seem very well thought out.
I know, but I would like to see them rehearse just because that sounds really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, Kong, so you're gonna be chained up here.
Yeah, okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, he's in a suit. Like, I don't like. He gave him a weird look, but like, he's still here.
He showed up here to be like, man, fuck you.
Okay, but Robert, just because he showed up doesn't mean that he supports this. He's
wearing a suit. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, he's at a theater.
I mean, it is a middle ground. He doesn't have the same stick to your guns as Anne.
Yeah, like, because Anne and Jack like are not here, and then Jack's gonna show up late, but he's not, dressed up.
You want to show up in a T-shirt that says "Carl sucks"?
I don't know. I just feel like with Colin Hanks, I feel like there should have been, if you're still gonna have him in the movie, there should be a stronger payoff with him. Because I don't know if he even like has another line with Denim. I think that's it. They just have a weird look.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is it.
Really need it.
It's just.
Driscoll shows up with a shirt that is just a tally of everyone that died, and it adds up to more than 17.
We really needed him to have
continue with this only 17 narrative.
We just need him to have like a Flanagan-esque monologue about how he really feels.
Yes. Yeah, and what I'm getting at with some side character stuff and just the length of this movie is it has less to do with the edit and more just on a script level because I think we could have had another pass at this script before shooting, but I still like it the way it is. It's not a big deal.
No, it's
You
fair.
fucking hate this movie now.
Sure.
Is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing. Yeah.
I
I'll
meant
be
to
right
mention.
back. I'm just gonna go refill my water.
Okay.
That's fine.
No.
And like I'm fine with Jimmy being out of the movie at this point, but he could be mentioned. Like he could be acknowledged by the other characters. It's just a weird like 2 month time skip where we're given very little context for what's happened during those 2 months.
They could have been like, "Hey, remember our pal Jimmy? He sure
Yeah,
does
they
that Tommy gun."
they got to stop and talk about everyone that got off the island.
Yep. And I think some of the music they're playing here is music from the original movie.
Probably. Well, because correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know the original very well. But isn't he dressed up like the guy Jack Black? Isn't he dressed up like the character in the original?
Yeah, most definitely. At least close. We're also because the original movie opens with the fake old Arabian proverb about beauty killing the beast, and then we like make that a line of dialogue that we give Denim here. I like that choice a lot. Yeah, 17 died. Bullshit.
Okay, so because I couldn't remember the context of that. I think that's fair. He's just playing it up like for an audience. He probably just pulled a number out of his ass.
100%. Yeah.
103 people died.
I think it'd be funnier though if it was like 5 or 6 people died during the movie, and then he bumps that number up a lot to make it more dramatic. Where he's like, 27 people died. Going after Big Monkey.
45 people died. Are you saying that?
But I do like how short-sighted Jack Black's character is. Just like,
Yes.
what the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
It's almost like this is a really bad idea.
What's a bad idea? What was he? Like, he was just kind of a weird thing that the natives kept locked on the other side of a wall.
It's for dramatic effect.
Now he's the king.
And then this is a level in the game we didn't get there, but this was always my favorite level because you just get to run around New York as Kong. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And if I recall, New York is really empty. In that
Yes.
game. I don't think there's a lot of
Oh,
people.
At least
They evacuated the city for Kong.
in the version that I played, because I played the GameCube one. But I mean, that was a common thing with any kind of game. You didn't have the processing power for a lot of NPCs.
Is this a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
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 He's touching the monkey.
Don't do that.
Back the monkey.
Don't touch the monkey.
Yeah, and I like this choice that Jack is. I think he's specifically here to see Anne, but doesn't realize that she's not coming.
Yeah.
Which is a change from the original I like a lot. Because in the original, Anne looks kind of shallow and like she's learned nothing because she goes to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because in the original, she doesn't give a fuck about Kong.
I think most people in her position wouldn't have showed up, though. Like, are you kidding me? I'm staying as far away from that thing as possible.
I mean, she could be made for life coming to the show, and
And I don't. There's the other character. I don't know how I feel about it, because with Kyle Chandler, because earlier in the movie he leaves because he's a coward. Then he comes back to save everybody, and now he's here because he's learned nothing. And I don't even dislike that choice. It's just an observation that like we gave him his redemption moment, but then also just kidding, he's learned nothing and he's back to his old ways.
he comes back with the captain. And he's like, "I am the hero I am in my I'm just gonna be a actor
But
again.
see, I would argue that that's not even a redemption. He's just getting to do something that makes himself feel better. He's not doing it to be a
No,
good
he
person.
gets a redemption on the island
Yeah.
when he shows back
Yeah.
up to save them.
Fair enough.
He swings in on the vine like Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Like Tarzan, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
this
feel-
is the exchange we were talking about earlier, and I just don't have like a strong enough feel for if Colin Hanks' character has really changed much.
Yeah, and I think all these people are in blackface too. Like it's part of the.
That's a choice.
The show, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Kong.
I know.
Why? He's happy. Look at him.
Oh yeah, he looks so happy.
My God, why have you forsaken me? And then John Wayne walks out and says, "Surely he was the son of God."
Zilla. And then
Oh, that'd be a twist.
and then 98 walks in.
Oh no!
But I'm totally with you.
Worse.
I agree, Austin. I love how we make more of a spectacle out of this.
Yeah,
Uh,
one. We also use the soundtrack from the original film in this
Yes.
as like the stage they're playing it, the band in front. It's great.
Yeah, and I love this reveal that it's not Anne, it's just some rando actress. But this is the point where it's like, you may have gone too far in a few places, Mr. Denham.
My
Hey-
favorite my favorite thing through the rest of this movie is King Kong picking up random blonde women and being like, huh, and like casually tossing them aside.
Well, she does in the original.
Hayden, thoughts
We
so
do
far.
it so many times, it's so funny.
What?
Thoughts so far.
I mean, it's good. I'm just kind of watching it. Like I don't.
Hayden's like, shut the fuck up and let me watch.
I think the cut to Kong's reaction to it not being Anne is really funny.
Look,
What is this?
Oh, that's not my woman.
that ain't my woman.
That's not my woman.
No, he should have been able to not tell because he's like, I can't tell. They're all blonde women look the same.
It's true.
See, they're framing it like she's sad about Kong, but she's actually crying. She can't remember her choreography. And now she's just standing there like, oh.
She could not give less of a shit about King Kong.
No, she doesn't care anything about Kong at this point.
I don't think
She's
this is gonna
freaking
end
out.
well, guys.
No, and I love how visceral the sequence is of oh God.
I love when Driscoll tells them to leave, and that one guy that's like, if you want a seat, you should have paid for one, or whatever.
Ever out?
Tyler says that this is the best Kong. He has the most depth. I mean, probably. I don't know.
It's a 3-hour-long film to develop him.
I'd say so, yeah.
And I mean, I haven't seen the 70s one, but I would say like the 30s one, this one, and then the MonsterVerse one are all doing different things. It's kind of hard for me to compare.
And even though he is a sympathetic three-dimensional character, Jackson doesn't go too far in trying to make him like likable or the good guy, because he does still kill a lot of people in this movie. Like he is a problem now.
Just tossed there.
There's one on the street later that's my favorite. That was Denham's death in the 60s version, is where he breaks out and he steps on him.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah,
I wonder too if we would have gotten that here had Fay Ray lived, because he probably would have kept that
Yeah.
death to give her that line at the end. So I wonder
Yeah,
if that's
possibly.
why that change happens. And yeah, now we have this stare down of, oh, Jack, you are my mortal enemy.
Oh my god, I've never
known.
known Denham's just standing there watching this happen. I've never noticed that before. He didn't leave, he didn't move, he's just standing there watching it happen.
He's in shock.
He's freaking out.
I don't know why he's so shocked. What the fuck did he think was gonna happen?
Not that.
I really like the choice to set this final bit in winter.
I love it. Yeah.
Because Austin, you said you played mostly the Kong sections. Did you play this section of the game?
Yeah.
I remember loving just going around New York, but like they kind of, from memory, factored in the fact that it's like snow and icy, so like you'd slip and slide all over the place.
When they specifically have that construction site that Kong climbs up in this.
I remember a lot
Fuck
of
up
these
those old
shots.
cars.
You and
I
your
remember a lot
friends
of
are
these shots
dead.
being in the trailers of him just flipping cars over. I remember that in the marketing.
Ah, it's great.
He's just a confused monkey.
I know.
There's my woman.
There's my woman.
There she is. That's not her.
Nope.
Well, it's like that
I think
scene
it's
in
the next one that's my favorite one. I think it's this one.
Well,
Yeah. Because he throws her like an arc.
and she's dead.
Oh, she's the actress on the stage is totally dead too, because he like whips her across the stage.
They should have given her a Wilhelm scream.
Ah!
I think this was the movie that like made me catch on to that trope where I was like, wait a minute, I've heard that before.
Oh yeah.
Like in other movies. I think this
I
was the
think
one where I
I
caught
think
on to it.
Jackson does it in every Lord of the Rings movie as well.
Yes.
He does, yeah.
It's funny because I think in one of them it's the orcs that have one.
Yeah.
Well, Peter Jackson delivers the greatest Wilhelm of all time in the second Hobbit extended cut, where it's like a named character that gets dialogue that has it, and he does it in a close up as he gets pulled away.
So,
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
I
so
forgot
for
about
a
it.
second, I thought
That's
we
And
were
it's like
talking
a
amazing.
about-
dramatic moment.
That scene is amazing.
For a second, I didn't like register what we were talking about. I thought we were still talking about like blonde women being held captive. And then
Oh,
when
yeah.
Austin goes, yeah, it happens in all three Lord of the Rings. I'm like, what?
It's true. Well, what
It's
I was
true.
gonna say earlier, it's like that moment in Horton Hears a Who when he's picking all the flowers to find the dust speck. Like the rest of this movie is just gonna be him sifting through
I
thousands of blonde women.
love the
By
choice
the way.
that he holds a specific grudge against Jack.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying earlier. And like after that part with the bats, they're like through the rest of this movie, there is another story playing from Kong's perspective where Driscoll is just the biggest piece of shit.
He stole his wife.
He stole his wife. He's like, coming to get her back. Where'd you put her?
He is
Where'd
the
you
author of
hide
all
my
his
wife?
fame.
It's true. He knows how to push his buttons.
Oh, he's freaking out.
Pushes the button.
Fuck these signs.
Fuck your restaurant.
He's like, this is what I'm gonna do to you when I get my hands on you.
Cool.
You gonna tell me where she is?
Where is she?
picks up Driscoll and then very clearly goes, where is she?
Yeah, it's just the Dark Knight interrogation scene.
Oh.
Both Kong and Jack.
Oh,
Where
I
are
don't
they?
I don't think it's getting past that first hit.
It's the one, the elbow to the hand, but it's just Jack's head and just explodes all over the place. Well,
Hell yeah. I didn't think this through.
Kong's like standing in the middle of the street and Jack's in the taxi coming at him. I want you to do it. I want you to.
Stop, you're killing him.
He's already dead.
What have
Was
I
17 not enough?
What have I done?
Done? What have
There-
I done?
There's something where the scene is shot though where I can't tell if Anne knew Jack was there or not, because I don't think she gives him like any attention. She's like, I'm just here for Big Monkey.
Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck about Jack.
Little
I
monkey.
don't like you.
It's
Yeah.
the same shot as the V-Rex in Kong.
Yeah, I think this shot was one of the posters.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the marketing really showing more of the New York stuff here than the island stuff, which is funny because you gotta wait like over 2.5 hours.
6 hours. That's why people
Yeah.
were pissed they came to see this movie.
Yeah, well, like the big posters and with the planes, you know, because that's like the icon,
The
one of the big
iconic
iconic
scene.
moments. Yeah. You just might not know you have to wait 3 hours to get to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was a kid, the thing that I knew about King Kong was, oh, he's a big monkey and he goes on a tower. I don't think I knew
At
about
least
Skull Island.
My favorite is the poster for the '70s one where he's standing on the Twin Towers. Like,
I was gonna say at least he climbed the Empire State Building again in the.
he should try to climb it in the next MonsterVerse movie.
Just squish it. They'll just step on it.
But since it's sharp, people are like, ow.
I hope he says it exactly
No,
like that.
He'll pick up the son of Kong and then throw him onto the top of the tower.
No, that movie's about
Yeah.
it's like Honey, We Shrunk Godzilla, and they're human size for that whole movie.
I feel like this shouldn't work, but just something about either the way it's shot or the music choice, like I'm with this scene. I don't think this is too
I love it.
like goofy or.
Well, this is maybe the most controversial scene of the entire film. It's the ice skating scene.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, people hate this scene. Yeah,
Uh,
and like I get it because it is silly and cheesy, and like this is part of that like weird self-indulgent stuff. I'm fine with it. I don't have an issue. I like that we have some sort of downtime in this. It's almost like from Kong's perspective, there's a moment where it's like, oh, it's all gonna be okay, as
Yeah.
opposed to it being a chase the entire time. But I also
Well,
get why people don't like it.
It's just like one last little happy moment with these
Mhm.
two, but you know it's not gonna last.
Well, it's like I said earlier. It's like Peter Jackson holds every second of this entire New York sequence, and just holds on it for this. Because I was looking at it earlier, and from the moment we open with the theater to the end where he dies is only 15 minutes in the original, whereas here it's 40 minutes.
Well, and there's also genuine wonder from Kong here too, because he's now the one in a strange land, and he's probably never seen like snow before.
Yeah.
So I like that we get
Well-
more than just the rampage stuff.
Well, Andy's happy because Anne's not wearing a bra now.
That's true. He's
Well,
also
and I
not as
think
dreamy as he was in the first
I
movie.
think you need this just
true.
because like Jackson really wants you to feel bad at the end, and it's easier to feel bad if the thing you see right before the tower sequence is a cheesier, happy moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Teddy
well,
says this is the Teddy says this is the best Big Monkey movie.
That's true.
Oh,
And I mean, I can see it either way because I can also see it being sadder if it's just we brought King Kong here and it's there's no sense of that. It's just he does not belong here, just straight up. Like that's it, end of statement. So I can see it from both perspectives. Like I said, that scene doesn't bother me.
I do think this bit of comedy is weird. I get the vibe Jackson isn't a fan of the American military.
Don't say that. Why say that?
I just think like the joke here is weird. Like we can't have big monkeys shit on our city. We gotta
This,
kill
uh,
all of them.
This general guy sounds like he's supposed to be a caricature of someone, but I can't really put my finger on who.
It has that vibe.
Maybe he sounds a bit Jesse Ventura-ish.
I wish it was Jesse
Oh,
Ventura. We can't have monkeys shitting on our streets.
I ain't got time to monkey.
Bunch of slack jaw apes shitting on our streets.
He's
gotta make
flying
New York a
on
central
rooftops.
Tyrannosaur.
Brings in 98 Godzilla.
He's flying on rooftops.
Ooh.
Okay,
Aiden, you're so rude.
I know. No.
No.
This is interesting. I knew that Peter Jackson and Rick Baker have cameos later as some of the airplane pilots for the climax.
Yeah.
Another one of them is Frank Darabont.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I
Oh,
did know
wow.
about that too.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Should have been Frank Henenlotter.
Yeah, I feel like Peter Jackson would be a fan of Henenlotter.
Peter Jackson has definitely seen Basket Case.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It
he's.
is
Go ahead.
it is unfortunate that in this version we don't get the scene where it ends in the big building and Kong just like sticks his hand through the window to yank her out of there.
I love the Simpsons parody of that, where Marge moves like all of my own. Homer Kong grabs her.
Teddy says, I love this Kong. The Monsterverse one is bigger, but this one has aura.
Sure.
Yeah, he's aura farming.
Yeah, that's what this whole scene is.
Farming.
Well, the MonsterVerse like size thing has become so insane that the Son of Kong in the new one is actually bigger than Kong is in Skull Island
It's ridiculous.
by like quite a bit.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I guess they had to size him up to go up against Godzilla.
No.
Oh
It's,
yeah.
I don't know. It's fine, but it's not my favorite.
But hey,
I
what
just-
were you trying to say earlier?
I don't remember. It was a joke. It wasn't any like.
There's
astute
another
observation.
Robert racist joke.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's his real name, Robert Racist.
I
Robert Racist
No,
Wild.
it's
That's the name.
I changed my name. I told you that.
I've always said that I really
God
like.
damn it, his name is Robert Girls Gone Wild now.
And I'm a person.
Sorry, what, John?
I've always said that with the MonsterVerse, I think you should have done another Kong movie, maybe even another Godzilla movie too, before getting to Godzilla vs Kong, because there's like a
Oh,
really
I know.
awkward skip from the Skull Island to Godzilla vs Kong.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, what bothers me about
You sat
Skull
there for like
is-
20 minutes complaining about too many side characters, but a 30-year time skip is fine.
I mean, I do think Godzilla vs. Kong has that problem exponentially with too many side characters. I don't think the time skip's an issue.
The thing
Yeah, I
with those
don't
movies
mind time skip.
that with Godzilla vs Kong that annoys me is like that's their like big culmination, but King of the Monsters is bigger,
Yeah.
so it's like
Well, it's also clearly at that point more of a sequel to Skull Island than it is a sequel to King of the Monsters, because it's like, oh, remember all those monsters who showed up at the end of yeah, they're all dead. They all died off screen. Like that stuff's fair to complain about.
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Kong.
I like that moment where he's like, I don't think this is going to go my way, and so he puts her down to...
Yeah.
Well, he's
I need
pissed.
both.
He's like, the last time you got taken away from me, those fucking flying things were attacking me.
I need all my
Here we
hands
go
for this.
again. No, this is another part, like I was saying, where we hold on it so long and like drag it out so long that it feels like it's almost saying like, maybe maybe we can get out of here, but no, it's inevitable.
Well, the original King Kong is a lot of things. You know, it's a spectacle, it's an adventure, but the angle that Jackson really takes from it is Jackson's like, no, this is a tragedy, and I want you all to feel bad about it. Like I felt.
I think that's
It's not like
why I
monkey.
prefer this version, just because I do like a good tragedy, and like I appreciate the more fleshed out story.
Mhm. Yeah, because in the original, like, Kong is still framed as more of an antagonist in this sequence, where Anne's still screaming, she doesn't want to be there. Like,
Well, see, that wasn't the character. That was just that actress. She was done with this movie. She wouldn't be out there.
Get me out.
I also know a lot of time and budget went just into, like, this digital recreation of New York City from 1933. Like, they spent so much time.
I think they did.
And it
a good
looks
job.
great.
And it looks great.
Yeah,
Looks
there's
awesome.
a thing too where, because in the original, there's a Columbia poster in Times Square, and they like digitally put that in this film, and then Columbia charged too much for them, so they had to take it out and replace it with Universal. This version is missing though that flat like back off shot of King Kong falling, where he bounces off of every spot.
Ow, ow, ow.
Ow! Ow! It wasn't the planes
Teddy,
that killed him. It was bouncing on every spot on the way
Holding.
down.
Teddy says in this version, you believe a monkey can cry.
I do.
I do. And that makes me cry.
Yeah, and I love Andy Serkis's commitment to this role. His performance is so great.
Yeah. It's funny that we can now say that this is one of two great monkey performances by Andy Serkis.
That's true.
Well, and then Tony Cabell plays Kong in Skull Island.
Oh yeah.
And is also a character in that movie as one of the soldiers.
Yeah.
And I really like his performance in that movie as Kong.
Yeah, I don't know if he continued doing it after that.
I think he shares that role with one or two other guys doing the motion capture, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
is
that makes sense.
I don't remember.
I don't know much about the making of those. Is it only Kong that is motion capture like that?
I believe so.
I think they maybe do some Godzilla mocap in the verses, like in the Godzilla and Kong. But actually, I think maybe. Sorry, what's that?
I don't think we've ever seen any B-roll of that, which would be legendary. Just the two guys in mocap suits doing Godzilla Kong fights.
Yeah. No, that's true. Actually, now that I think about it, I think they've maybe done mocap stuff for just Godzilla in general in the MonsterVerse.
Teddy, one of the best monkey performers of our era, Andy Serkis. And no, Alfred does not count as a monkey performer.
Oh.
Damn it.
No, but Gollum is like a shaved monkey.
Oh.
Gollum is a type of monkey.
Yeah.
Well, and they do a really good job selling just how like one-sided this fight is. Like he just gets his ass kicked for most of this. He only takes out like 2 planes.
Yeah.
I think he gets 3.
Oh,
Don't
right. Yeah, I think it is.
Don't denim this where you try to downplay it.
Well,
He only killed 17 planes. Yeah, because he gets a double kill at one point, and he kills another one before that.
You're gonna kill Anne.
I know. I remember watching this movie with my mom and her getting so stressed out during this sequence. Like, she does not do well with heights.
This is stressing me out. Like, the ladder. I don't like this.
Oh, God.
Well, considering when this was made, I'm kind of shocked the studio didn't step in and be like, "Hey, you cannot have the shot of the plane falling after he hits it." Where it's like
Not wrong.
falling towards the buildings.
Yeah.
And I like that it kind of shows that he cares more about her life than the freaking airplanes do.
Yes.
Hey, they don't know that she's there yet. They at least go around her when they realize she's there to shoot him in the back. Frank Darabont's classy that way.
Oh, I think this might be the double kill.
Yeah, it's the double kill.
Yeah.
Got him.
He even does like a little
Yep.
after he
Hell
does
yeah.
it.
He don't look so good.
Fuck yeah! Oh god, I think they got my liver.
Teddy, we need a new version of King Kong where Kong is so big he can't even fit in New York. He just destroys the whole city with 1 foot. It's a logical progression. Well, that'll be Supernova.
Yeah, it's like that Godzilla anime where he's Earth or whatever.
Godzilla
it's
Earth, yeah, that's what I was thinking of too.
Planet Kong.
Yes. Just Planet Hulk, but with Kong.
Hell yeah.
It's like Ego.
I
but
mean-
Kong.
We're kind of getting there with the the Hollow Earth stuff.
True.
Which is that's the stuff I care the least about, and it's the stuff
Yeah.
the movies care the most about, and it's annoying.
I have that too.
Also, this would make an interesting double feature with Shape of Water. Just in how they approach telling those stories.
Yeah,
He's doing the thing.
I agree. I'd probably just never do that because this movie's so long.
Yeah.
So
That's
this is a
like-
double feature
That's
for
like
me.
what? Almost 6 hours, 7 hours?
You only do double features with 90-minute movies.
Oh.
Ideally.
Although I might watch Good Boy when we're done with this.
Hell yeah.
see, they're like, "Oh, she's
God.
there. Let's not shoot, because we'll kill her."
Teddy asks, do you think Hulk and Kong would get along?
No.
Probably
No,
not.
I mean, if it's Stoner Hulk from the like new MCU stuff.
No, because Kong hates stoners.
Oh, true. He killed that
That's
Stoner
established
V-Rex.
To the V-Rex.
Kong.
That's
Kong is
finally
very-
where we get the jaw snap. He's gonna do that to Mark Ruffalo.
Not even Hulk, just normal Mark.
Just Mark
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo. Oh yeah, just the person. Exactly. That's where we get the smallest King Kong, so that we can do. We size Kong down so that he can fight Mark Ruffalo.
But it's as brutal as like the V-Rex fight, where he's like,
He's playing with it after. Oh no,
Oh, that's fucked up.
"Sorry, Mark
this is
Ruffalo,
fucked up.
you're good in Zodiac, nothing else."
See, like they had the decency to shoot
Ow.
the other direction.
You shot him in the back, you cowards. No, I remember loving this movie when I was a kid, but it was also such a downer.
And
Like,
Burma, man, this is Burma.
Come on, man.
Teddy wants to see a movie that's just King Kong movie that's just Kong chilling and like just playing Fortnite and stuff. I don't want that.
That's called Godzilla X Kong.
King Kong's now in Fortnite.
Oh.
true.
Ready Player One really did predict the future.
Oh,
That it sucks.
Oh,
this is how I want to die.
What, caressing a woman's cheek before you fall?
No, I just meant the his head slides off and he's like, "Oh."
He whispers, "Fly, you fools."
Yeah.
Get out of here, you bastards! You fucking murderers!
It is crazy how Jackson got this movie out, what, 2 years after the last Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it probably helps that it was a movie he's been wanting to make for a long time, and he had like some work with the '90s one.
Mm-hmm.
Even
I
if
was
it's
just
like a
thinking,
starting
like...
point of just I don't want to do that.
Well, I was just thinking that because, like, movies of half of the scope take, like, 10 years to come out now.
And the script was just this scene from original times 3.
Yeah, the script was just Sad Monkey.
Said monkey.
Guys, this monkey is dead. It has passed on. It has ceased to be. It has gone to his maker. He has kicked the bucket. He has shuffled off into the mortal coil. This is an ex-monkey.
Monkey.
God damn it.
I think this is getting too silly.
Monkey. We need to say
I never really thought about it, but it's interesting how they immediately show people just, like, completely trampling this poor thing's corpse.
Yes.
Man, it's a
Cuts his
dumb,
thumb off and takes it
dumb
home.
beast.
Yeah, this is where it becomes very apparent. Or this is one of the scenes where it's like, yeah, Jackson likes the big monkey more than most people in this movie.
Look at how shitty all of these people are.
I like to imagine that Carl was just standing on that stage until right now.
He walks out. He's like, "Oh, man." That was actually what stirred him back to being, coherent again. Is hearing boom outside.
Oh no.
What I've done.
Dun.
Erase myself.
Aw.
The monkey I've become.
Monkey I've become.
I send this message to Skull Island. Kong is dead. If you were there, we are waiting.
Often King Kong versus Optimus Primal, who wins?
I mean, it depends on the King Kong, I guess. Although Optimus Primal has weapons, so I guess it's probably him by default.
Well, yeah.
Well, so that was 2005's King Kong. Hayden, since this was your first viewing, thoughts?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'll probably have to give it another watch at some point. But yeah, like that's a movie I'm kind of sad that I hadn't seen before now.
Yeah.
On a first watch, I do have the like, it probably could have been cut down a little bit, but
Oh. No, you gotta make it even
maybe
longer.
on-
Release the
Oh,
4-hour
yeah.
cut.
Well, you did watch the longer version first too, so that's a factor.
yeah.
I mean, he could make a 4-hour cut if he wanted to. There's like 45 minutes of deleted scenes that aren't in either version.
Yeah,
Come all in.
release the monkey cut. Just put everything back in.
That's where you get to see Jimmy walk up to Kong's corpse and spit on it and be like, "This
I
is
like the
for
idea that
Hayes."
the 4-hour cut is the monkey cut.
Yeah. The
All
monkey.
all the time.
Monkey.
Oh yeah.
Well, I give this a monkey out of 5.
I also love my copy of the movie makes a big deal of over 13 hours of bonus content that I will probably never watch.
Yeah.
I watched all that shit when I was a kid.
Oh, don't say that. Why say
Like,
that?
Don't
I
say
watched
that.
I watched all the Lord of the Rings ones. Like I've watched all 3 of those a couple times when I was a kid and had nothing and had no life and nothing to do. But
Oh.
now I probably won't get to that.
I mean,
I also was a little bummed, so I redeemed the digital code on this, and I didn't realize until today that the digital code is only for the theatrical cut.
Oh.
You think they'd just give you both?
Yeah.
And my digital code expires in 2021, so
Try it anyway. Sometimes they still work.
It's true. And then if you go to rent this movie on YouTube, it's the extended cut, not the theatrical cut.
which is weird.
It's all fucked up.
Weird.
Also-
I rented this on Vudu because I couldn't find the extended cut on YouTube.
It's not the
Oh.
extended cut is you can rent it on Amazon.
Strange.
I also kind of wish they picked something better for the like cover art than just like a generic image.
The monkey stander.
Yeah.
That at least is him on Skull Island and not just in the city, like
It's
what
true.
they sold this movie as.
It's true. Noah, what did you think of the extended cut?
I loved it.
I
I,
like-
I
I
gotta,
like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I gotta watch both versions.
Watch them back to
again.
back.
Yeah, right now.
I don't know if I'll watch them back to back, but
Timestamp
really
0.
compare.
Yeah.
But no,
We're-
as of right now, I think I prefer the theatrical cut slightly just because it is shorter. But you know, this is still good. This is like the complete package. But
no, Noah, we're
it's
gonna
still,
do
it doesn't drag like a lot of extended cuts I can think of, like the Snyder cut drags.
No.
we're gonna do a commentary on the theatrical cut right now.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to leave right now, so that's good timing.
No.
Well,
No.
first you have to see the after credit scene that sets up King Kong Lives. Can't miss that.
Yeah, and the crossover with the Roland Emmerich Godzilla.
Yeah,
What
that's-
sound you just made. You're like, ah.
King Kong Lives was mentioned. No,
Yeah, that's what we're
the
doing
end of
next.
this. The after credit scene is where you see Kong's egg hatch under the New York subway.
You beat me to it.
And then
would be
it's like,
cool.
oh shit, Kong Jr. is gonna fight Godzilla Jr.
It is
Forgot
kind of
about
a
the egg
shame.
that he laid.
Yeah, they forgot to get all of.
It is kind of a shame that this came out after we kind of stopped doing that for a while. A King Kong animated show would be awesome.
I mean, there was one
They had
like back in the '60s that had
they had a
shitty
Barbaro.
animation.
And there's that Netflix one.
I keep
Netflix.
forgetting that exists.
There's a Netflix
Yes,
Never
one.
seen it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I-
a-
Monsterverse.
Oh,
and I think it's the same animation studio as like Korra and Voltron.
oh,
Oh.
I should watch that then. Wait, so hold on. So you're telling me that Kong gets his own animated show, and then he's also gonna take over the Godzilla show?
Doc, you're telling me that Kong got his own show and he's taking over Godzilla's show? Shit, I'm late for school.
That's right, Morty. We have to go back and stop it so Godzilla could be the king of the MonsterVerse.
Yeah, animation by Studio Mir, which is the same studio as Voltron, Korra,
Oh,
My Adventures with Superman, and X-Men '97.
oh, cool. I should watch that.
I
Austin,
don't know anyone that's actually seen it.
which
Yeah,
version? Which version of this do you end up preferring? Since you watched it back to back ish.
I don't know. I don't know. It's both good.
Oh.
Like
No, you
the
have to
extended
pick
cut-
one.
No.
Oh,
No.
pick one. You can only watch that version for the rest of your life. Go.
No.
Oh, why?
Well,
They're both good. I don't know. I don't really have friends. Like I could see watching either version. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had a junior novelization of this movie that was really short, and I remember that having some of the deleted scenes. So that's why some of that dialogue, some of those scenes are just burned in my brain. Where I'm like, oh, that wasn't in the movie, because this was before I saw the extended cut. But then I think the book just ends when they leave Skull Island. They just don't do the
Oh,
New York
weird.
stuff. It was so weird. That's how I remember it, because it was really short, and I was like, the hell?
You don't need the New York stuff.
The book just goes and then Denim threw chloroform into Kong's face like an acid attack. Kong fell down and he was passed out. Denim said, "We're all gonna be rich boys." The end. The tale is old as time.
Here, I'm gonna send you a link, Robert. Is it this one?
That's when they do the sequel where Doctor Who shows up.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I think Teddy's calling you a centrist, Austin.
Oh,
For not picking
Uh,
Well,
that's fine.
that is correct.
so
I
I
don't
found
have strong opinions either way. Look, they're both good.
I found
Yes.
okay, so I found it.
That's it.
The entirety of the scene set in New York after Kong's capture drastically shortened and relegated entirely to 4 pages of an epilogue.
Yep.
Excellent.
What the
Kong's
fuck is
so
up with
weird.
Peter Jackson? The third Hobbit film is based off of like a paragraph in that, or like 2 pages in that book. The entire last 45 minutes of this film was based off of 4 pages of this book.
Well, I remember this had 2 novelizations, and I have both, the junior one and the longer one. That's the full movie, which I never read, but it's like that big. 'Cause it's like
Oh.
this, so I never got around to it, but I assume that one doesn't
I-
get anything.
I just liked.
Kong already has a weird history with novelizations because he's in the public domain specifically because of a novelization for the original.
And
Which-
the one you're talking about, I believe, has the spider pit sequence, and that's how a lot of people first hear about it. Is what the
Mhm.
hell? What's with the spider pit sequence? That wasn't in the movie. Why is that here?
Yeah, well, because that's become one of like the most infamous deleted scenes.
Yeah,
But
'cause
there's
like-
one oh go ahead.
Well, just saying, like many novelizations, it was just using an early script, like an early draft, so that's why that scene's in there.
Yeah, exactly. No, like 'cause I learned about one recently where I'm like, wow, this is like it's even more like this should be in the movie deleted scene, which is where he picks up Anne and climbs like a big mountain in the middle, because it's setting up the like the ending, like it's paralleling
Mhm.
that on the island. It's like, oh, that should just be in the movie. That's weird that it's not there.
Well, that is gonna be it for King Kong. If you're watching after the fact, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. We'll see you guys on the next one.